This is nearly a 2.5-mile road course, 2.45 miles to be exact, nearly 4 kilometers. 11 turns around the course. We do not run the boot. The front straightaway is about 2,100 feet long, downhill, heavy braking into the 90-degree right-hander. Then they'll climb uphill through the fastest part of the section, the S's, the slaloms, right, left, right, left. That is where you build speed and head down the back straightaway. Josh Turner's there for us today, and then they'll head to the inner loop. Then the carousel, the 180-degree right-hander that leads you onto that short chute on the approach to a couple of other 90-degree corners, turns 10 and 11. That's where Seth Eves is at for us here this afternoon. That's a quick lap around Watkins Glen. Let's bring in Josh real quick on this final pace lap. How are you today, Josh? And welcome aboard to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. It is chaotic in the labyrinth of cables and everything, but hello to everyone on JBMotorsports who has joined us now, and it should be a good one. Just having a look at the bus stop chicane on our look around the circuit on the drone camera, and it's definitely a different circuit to some that we go to.
Yeah, it's very technical, but it's also very fast. It's always been called the super speedway of road courses because of how fast it is. And Seth, that has led to many times over the years a lot of hard crashes here.
Yeah, we have seen some nasty ones. That is for sure. So, yeah, we've seen some nasty ones. Hopefully we don't have any of those today, but boy, this is it's going to be a wild one, we feel, here at Watkins Glen. The tire situation, I think, is going to make for an interesting aspect of the race. We're going to have some fun, and guess what? We're about ready to actually go green here at Watkins Glen as we turn left and right on a wild and woolly Sunday at Watkins Glen. You've got Ross Chastain and Martin Truex Jr. set to lead the field to green. And for the start of the second playoff race, the Go Bowling at the Glen, here's Walnut Cove, North Carolina's Matthew Owens.
Toyota Camry XSE pace car, which I hear has enough fuel in it, peels off to pit road and leaves the field in the hands of Ross Chastain, who lines up to driver's right, the inside line. Green flag is out. It's time to drop the hammer at Watkins Glen in playoff race number 2. Chastain gets off the line well. Martin Truex Jr. to his left elbow will yield to Chastain in the 90-degree turn 1. Chastain goes wide. Truex closes in as they start uphill to Josh.
Chastain in front by a car length, and the first 4 are single file. And we've got a couple of side-by-side. Down we go. And that is going to be close. Looking 3 wide as we go down towards the back of the bus stop chicane. Will it happen? No, it stays too wide. Probably the smartest choice is that Daniel swerves up the inside of the number 2 of Austin Cindric as they head towards Youssef.
Yeah, side by side. There's already trouble. Christopher Bell spins to the bus stop. At the exit of the bus stop, Kyle Busch is spun out facing the wrong way. Denny Hamlin's in it. Denny Hamlin has damage to the FedEx Toyota. Oh, my goodness. Early trouble on lap number 1. A couple of playoff drivers have found trouble. Kyle Busch, one of their cars spun, couldn't make out who it was. But the big 3 involved in it are Bell, Hamlin, and Busch. And the caution is out. And Denny Hamlin, Matthew, is crab walking that thing through turns 10 and 11.
Oh, my
Big
goodness.
development here.
Oh, my goodness. Hamlin's car. Oh, and Ryan Blaney, too, Seth, at the outside of the carousel has come to a stop. Well, let's try to figure out what happened here. This was in the middle of the pack. We talked about Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson starting in the middle of the pack. Well, Ryan Blaney started in the back. And Seth, where did all of this start in the middle of this, to use Josh's word, labyrinth?
Somebody got into Kyle Busch, and everybody had to check up. Hamlin slid through the grass to miss, didn't work. Blaney got the wall. Bell spun. But I think Kyle Busch couldn't quite tell the car from this angle. Kyle Busch got hit. Corey LaJoie.
Oh, God, no. Oh, please. Oh, Jesus.
Corey LaJoie, of course.
and it was a spinning Busch that got the right front of Hamlin, who tried to avoid. And yeah, I don't know exactly how Blaney got his damage, actually, but he got somewhere. He had come to a stop outside of the carousel. Christopher Bell, I think, as you rightly called, Seth, I think Bell gets away with this only really with a spin. This is the dangers of starting in the middle to the back. Larson just misses it, but Hamlin doesn't. And as Seth rightly said, he was crab walking it back to pit road, Hamlin. Could be real suspension damage on that 11 car. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my good Christ. A helicopter flying extremely low.
Maybe it's that zip line.
That thing was a helicopter. Well, I can't possibly believe that Corey LaJoie is the one at the center of this, but of course he is. Oh, dear. Still, would like to get a really good look at Ryan Blaney here. And here it is. So here's Blaney. We're looking on our monitors of a replay from inside the car. And he got into the back of Keselowski. Didn't seem to be a lot of contact there, but he obviously felt something was wrong because he pulled off and stopped on the outside of the carousel.
Bubba Wallace was in the wreck. He hit the Armco, said, quote, "F me, that hurt. I hit it pretty flush to the left side. All the tires are up. F me, man."
Oh, gosh, yeah. Just saw him back there, ducking and diving. Juan Pablo Montoya right through the center of it all. Well, you know, again, last week was the first time we ever ran reconfigured Atlanta in the playoffs. This is the first time we've had Watkins Glen in the playoffs, and you just never know what's going to happen. And oh my goodness, coming at you, Seth, not good news for Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, his car is on the back of a wrecker. On the back of a wrecker.
And window net
Ryan
down.
Blaney, the defending series champion, in major trouble.
Gosh.
His day is done.
And that didn't seem like very hard contact, as I said. Hamlin on pit road. Let's see what we can hear.
Kevin, if you can drive it, go another lap so we can get prepared. They identified the left rear toe link is obviously damaged on the left rear. You see the damage on the right front as well, but the team going about this methodically and getting that plan in place. As he took that lap, we'll see what they can do here. Disaster for this 11 team to start this playoffs of 2024. Remember, last week only getting 13 points after being involved in an incident in Atlanta, and now here on the first lap after qualifying in 22nd being involved in this incident.
Look at all the preparation. Mechanic underneath the wheel well. You see the case there, the clear plastic case with probably other parts and pieces, a little carry toolbox. You see the sparks fly right there. What happens when that toe link breaks is it can actually bend the bolt or pin. So while you think it's just as easy as two bolts, unbolt it, put the next one in, you actually have to probably cut the bolt loose. Now these teams have pre-measured all of those toe links. They'll have a left rear, a right rear, all set to the perfect length, assuming something else isn't bent. So right here is something that this crew would have practiced in their garage back in Mooresville, North Carolina, actually down in Huntersville in North Carolina. You practice this, but I can assure you, practice is nothing like leaning over that 500-degree rotor with the pressure of the pace car making laps. If you can't get this fixed within time, Jeff, you're going to be out of the race.
That's 100% right, Steve. And this all goes back. Remember the conversation that we've had all week about Denny Hamlin making the decision to ride around in the back and to get a few points at Atlanta, thinking he could come here and get points. And if that strategy didn't work out, where possibly he earned some points last week and doesn't get many this week, he could go to Bristol in a must-win situation. This is potentially worst case scenario for Denny Hamlin.
And for fellow playoff driver Ryan Blaney, he is officially out of this.
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. Apparently it's a broken steering column on the Ryan Blaney car, and Seth, I don't get that. How could that small of contact break a steering column? That's inexcusable.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I mean, he was barely involved in the wreck. He got into the back of Keselowski, who was checking up, and all of a sudden his day's done. Hamlin took a harder hit than Blaney did. Oh, boy, that's... So Ryan Blaney, who came in the best of anyone on points, below Legato, plus 45, he's out, doesn't even make a lap, and he's going to receive 1 point. Gosh, unbelievable. And you said, Seth, there was heavy contact on that, the guardrail driver's left, that powder blue guardrail, just beyond the tire barrier. And it looks like they're repairing that your direction.
Yes, they are. You've got about 5 people there, 5 AMR safe, a combination of AMR safety people and other yellow jackets, people in yellow shirts. So, yeah, you got 5. You got a wagon full there trying to solve the problem. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney's crew in the garage area trying to figure out what in the world has happened here. This is a stunning development for the defending series champion, as he is out of this race.
Here's another thing, Seth, and I don't want to come across as, old man yells at cloud, but this is very upsetting. That car is in no way visibly damaged. The only damage is because somehow a steering column has been broken on what looked to be very subtle bit of contact. Why do we have a rule to where his race is now over? They can't go back and fix the car. He's been involved in a wreck, quote unquote a wreck, and he did not drive it back himself. So the DVP clock doesn't even go on him. His day's just done. I need to know how that makes sense.
I don't either.
They could fix a steering column. Oh, that's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for Ryan and that team. It's also frustrating, I'm sorry, it's also very frustrating for all of those drivers that Corey LaJoie just has zero respect for anyone else on the racetrack.
And got out of the car. We'll ask him what happened in a moment, but it seemed like you were talking to NASCAR officials, Ryan, because did you guys feel like they said you're done for the day? Were you feeling like you should have had time on the clock to be able to repair the car?
Give us a chance to fix it. How are they going to dictate if we're done or not?
Yeah.
They have no idea the damage. They say because I couldn't drive it back to the pit box, we're done. But you have 4 flats, you get towed back to the pit box, you can't drive it back. So I don't know what's going on, why they won't even give us a shot to work on it, but I don't agree with it. And I don't even know what happened, honestly. I stacked up and I caught someone in the left front. It completely broke the steering arm. I don't know if we could have fixed it, but yeah, that's the frustrating part. Just don't even give us a chance. You just end our day with not even letting us get to look at it before it's in the garage. That's just stinks.
And Steve, there have been several long conversations, first with Jonathan Hassler and NASCAR officials, then Ryan Blaney got involved as well, trying to say, hey, we feel like we should have time on the clock. What does the NASCAR rulebook say about that situation?
So the basic premise of the damaged vehicle policy is if you get into an accident, you have a set amount of time, 7 minutes to repair your car. That's kind of total time on pit road. Where it gets murky and what's upset the 12 car is we have seen cars with flat tires unable to drive back to pit road, so they are then assisted to their pit box. That's the big difference. And what Blaney and his crew chief Jonathan Hassler want in this situation is they want it to be towed to their pit box to assess the damage to see if they can make repairs in 7 minutes. I think this is something that NASCAR is going to have to clear up, because when and who decides whether you go to your pit box or the garage as these playoffs continue. 1 point makes a difference. I think the damage on the 12 is day ending regardless, but you could hear it in Ryan's voice as frustrating. He feels his crew has the right to see that. Sounds like something between NASCAR and the teams that are going to want to get cleared up, because this isn't going to go away here. Just wait till Bristol next week.
The defending series champion.
That's so frustrating. That's frustrating on every level.
Denny Hamlin's team did change the toe length, but he is a lap down.
And just every bit of that's frustrating, and I just, Seth, I don't know how the driver of that 7 car thinks he's going to get anyone to hire him to drive his car if this is what he does every week.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, he's kamikazed people all year long. And it's not as if, I don't know if this makes any difference at all, it's not as if he's wrecking, just anybody. He dumped Jimmy Johnson at Kansas. He dumped Kyle Busch at Pocono. He's dumped Kyle Busch here. He started a big wreck at Daytona. Just not the only race car on the track. Got to be smarter than that. You got to be more respectful of everyone else. Oh, that drives me crazy. Anyway, as Seth reports, Denny Hamlin is still on the track. They did break, as you heard Steve Letarte talk about. They had broken a left rear toe link. They have gotten that fixed under caution, but it did cost them a lap. Now, it used to be falling a lap down on a road course might as well have been a death sentence to your race. But now with the free pass, he's in position to get that lap back at the next caution, wherever that falls, whether it's at the end of the stage or before that. The field is doubled up and ready to restart with Ross Chastain and Martin Truex Jr. on the front row, just as it was for the initial start. Chastain again has chosen the inside line, which for turn 1 here is on driver's right. So Truex to his left elbow. Shane Van Gisbergen and Alex Bowman line up in row 2. And we'll see how wild this restart gets. They always are going downhill into this 90-degree corner. Green flag flies once again. Chastain gets away well. A nose in front of Truex, a door ahead of Truex, and he's clear under braking to turn 1. They fan out 3 wide. One car goes way wide. Might have been Chase Briscoe! And one car gets hit, Josh, but stays pointed the right direction. Wow!
And that makes everyone check up behind, and that makes a bit of a traffic jam. 3 wide through turn 3, and that is involving the number 13 in the middle of that of AJ Allmendinger. And here is Denny Hamlin making moves coming towards you, Seth.
Well, boy, a couple cars picking up a big rooster tail back there in the bus stop. Can we get one full lap under green? Everybody looks to be minding their P's and Q's through the bus stop this time around. Ross Chastain still leads. Harrison Burton way in the back, tries to go outside of Brad Keselowski to get a spot. Leaves the bottom open for Christopher Bell. It is Chastain, Truex, Van Gisbergen, Bowman, and Briscoe, the top 5 as they work through turns 10 and 11. Looks like everybody's going to get through here A-okay, Matthew.
Yeah, someone hit A.J. Allmendinger as they all funneled out of turn 1 and started to go up the hill, and Allmendinger went from 5th to just about last on the racetrack out of that. I don't know if he maybe cut down a tire on that contact, but as Josh said, he was the stopper in the bottle going up the S's, which is such a very fast and narrow piece of road. Coming out of turn 1 and back up to you, Josh, up the hill.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Briscoe, who capitalized on that up to 5th on that last lap. That is the number 10 of Gregson making moves round the 43 of Jones. Coming up towards you, Seth, side by side.
Yeah, you got Jones and Gregson battling as they go through the bus stop. Meanwhile, Van Gisbergen puts the pressure on Martin Truex Jr. for second. A.J. Allmendinger, carrying the race's sponsor this afternoon, is on pit road. So issues for the former winner to go down there.
Side of the car. At first he said the axle, because when he throttles up, the back end wants to just absolutely shoot out. Then he said maybe it's just the tire down. Then he confirmed, I do think something is broke, so the team trying to diagnose it right now.
Let's see exactly what happened to the 13. It was in the S's, I believe. Here he is exiting
in turn 1.
And watch behind too. Watch the 22 of Joey Logano. They're coming towards you. Logano goes to the inside and tags Allmendinger.
Yeah, I think whatever happened before the 22 caught him, because I see a little bit of movement in the back of the car. Really an absolute spectacular drive by all of these vehicles. The fastest, narrowest part of Watkins Glen.
Yeah, there's no sense in that not have ended up in a 20-car accident at that section of the track. Yeah, I think you're right, or I think Steve's right there. I think the axle broke, Seth, before the corner, and then that's what just tore everything apart.
Yeah, Steve needs a Mountain Dew. I think Steve needs a Mountain Dew.
He needs a beast unleashed. Maybe Tyler Reddick can help him out on one of those. My goodness, what an eventful start to this race. Let's pick up the leader swinging through the carousel and back onto the short chute if we can. No? Okay.
Allmendinger to the garage.
Yeah, that's a shame. Leader's in 10.
And it's Chastain who has gapped Truex by about 3 car lengths as they work their way through turn 11. Oh, is that smoke out of the back of Truex's car?
Yeah, it looked like Truex may have lit up one of the right side tires getting into turn 11. He's facing a lot of pressure here at the back door from Shane Van Gisbergen. They're reversing Allmendinger down pit road so he can get into a garage opening. So that's one of the road ringers done. Chase Elliott locks up the right front getting into turn 1. He routes Daniel Suarez wide, Josh.
Side by side, Suarez gets ahead, the 99 with the 9 battling. It's all 9s. Hopefully there's not an emergency, and then they'll have to dial 999 here in the UK. And it's Elliott Suarez battling out, and it's McDowell behind as they come down towards you, Seth.
You got Chase Elliott and Chase Briscoe as they go to the bus stop with Daniel Suarez just ahead of them. But it is Ross Chastain showing the way on lap number 9 as he works his way through. They go through the carousels. They work their way, of course, through
carousel.
turns 8. A carousel, yeah. Yeah, it is a carousel. So they go through the carousel, and I guess that's all we're going to look at is look at the carousel, the merry-go-round. Hey, it's county fair season in these United States, so why not go to the carousel? Now they're in 11.
You know what's great about county fairs? The food.
Oh yeah, and it makes and the people watching makes you feel better about yourself.
Like, I know some people go to those things to ride the rides. I would never do that. It's put in, by 2 screws by some jackwagon who was just hired 36 hours ago. But the food
out of work or is working at a prison work release program.
But
yeah. I don't want that creepy MF working on a ride with my kids in it. But anyway,
the food is just fabulous. Fried
the food is amazing.
Fried everything. Josh, do you know at the Texas State Fair you can get deep fried butter? I'm not kidding.
Here we go again.
I'm not kidding. You can get deep fried butter at the Texas State Fair in Dallas.
Yep. We've talked about this. Yep.
Oh.
You were.
I thought someone was close over there. Sorry. But yes, anyway, I don't know how we ended up at that point of the broadcast. We're on lap
carousel.
10.
It's my fault because I brought it up with carousel, but as usual, it's my fault. By the way, Texas, Oklahoma coming up in a little bit. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Kyle Larson and William Byron sweeping up out of turn number 11 back to the main straightaway. These teammates scrap along for the 12th position. Larson to driver's right. He'll have the preferred line under braking to turn 1. He'll slip by Byron. Ty Gibbs just in behind those two. And further back we find Juan Pablo Montoya to the inside of Harrison Burton trying to make up ground, Josh.
Yeah, that was Nemechek trying to get wide to get the whole shot on Montoya. Wasn't able to. Nemechek stays behind. Montoya out front. Chastain, Truex Jr., Van Gisbergen towards you, Seth.
Yep, as they continue to work their way through. And, bringing a look at Shane Van Gisbergen, continuing to apply the pressure on Martin Truex Jr. as they work through the carousel and onto that short straight. Van Gisbergen shifting, trying to make a move at Truex. About a car length separates those second and third place drivers. And so they work their way through turns 10 and 11. Truex stays ahead of Van Gisbergen.
Ross Chastain not really pulling away from the second and third place cars. He's only got about 3 car lengths on Truex and Van Gisbergen. Bowman 4th, Briscoe 5th, and in fact all of the top 5 are pretty tight together. 6th is Daniel Suarez, but Austin Cindric's battling him as the leaders dive into turn 1. Suarez gets to the inside of Cindric, forces him wide of the curbing on the exit of turn 1, and they'll go side by side up the hill.
Suarez gets in front of Cindric. Will Cindric fight back? Round the right-hander? No, he will not. Down the back stretch we go. Will he get the slipstream? Here comes Elliott looking down the inside of Cindric down towards you, Seth.
Yeah, he had a peek, has to tuck back in line, though, as they go through the bus stop. The new bus stop is Elliott. Again, gets a little bit loose. He is all over the back of Cindric. He's doing everything but turning it. Well, as soon as I say that, he tries to put the bumper to him. Couldn't do it. He backs up and lets Michael McDowell and Tyler Reddick into the fight as they head down that short straight. Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe casually stalking Alex Bowman to try and grab that number 4 position. As they go through turns 10 and 11, the leader is still Ross Chastain.
Chase Elliott on the move here early, but he's got Michael McDowell. That's applying pressure at the back door. That's, in fact, 3 really good road racers there, nose to tail, and Elliott, McDowell, and Reddick, and not a bad one just in front of him in Austin Cindric. Here is Reddick. Bit disappointing in qualifying yesterday to fall outside the top 15, but he's worked his way up to 10th, and he's going after Michael McDowell in turn 2.
Also looking at the damage to Buescher and the damaged Hamlin are battling out. Their cars both damaged after the lap 1 caution. That was very close to the barrier, close as you can get here at Watkins Glen. And all single file for now, heading down the backstretch. Steph.
So here is Reddick trying to reel McDowell as they go through the bus stop. McDowell, like he kicked up a little bit of dirt there at the exit of the bus stop. So Michael McDowell stays in front of Tyler Reddick as they go down the back straight. Meanwhile, Truex fanning a bit wide, but still ahead of Van Gisbergen. Ross Chastain has checked out from the rest of this field as they'll come to 7 laps to go in the first stage when they go back to the start-finish line, and the man from Florida leads the field.
Delighted to have you with us today on a day of major motor races. Earlier today, the Formula One Azerbaijan Grand Prix won by McLaren and Oscar Piastri. You heard that on USRN2 and JBMotorsports. And now, for some unknown reason, NASCAR and IndyCar go head-to-head against each other in the day that is the IndyCar finale, with Alex Palou and Will Power scrapping for the IndyCar championship. Palou trying to become a 3-time champion at such still a young age for Chip Ganassi. More on that as we go on. Seth, we've got a battle for second heading into the bus stop inner loop.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen puts the pressure on Martin Truex Jr. He's all over the back of that red, white, and black number 19. Van Gisbergen trying to apply the pressure. Can't quite do it. He will be tucked right in behind Truex. Now he fans a bit wide, Van Gisbergen, so he'll have to stay in line yet again. Truex maintains about a slightly more than a car length on Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen close. Oh, he goes off the track trying to make a move at turn 11. What a move.
He went deep into turn 10, Van Gisbergen, got to Truex's inside for the right-handed turn 11, and he makes the pass. So after a handful of laps of looking at his back door, Shane Van Gisbergen gets by Martin Truex Jr., and behind, here's Chase Briscoe to the inside of Alex Bowman in turn 1. Those two make slight contact. What I was just about to lead to, by the way, Josh, IndyCar finale at Nashville's on USRN2 and on JBM, NASCAR on JBM and USRN, and Josh, am I hearing that the championship is already over for Will Power?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks chaotic over there. Having a look again, Briscoe continuing to make moves as they head towards you, Seth.
Well, all I was going to say was, with after watching the Van Gisbergen moves, since Matt White's not here, I can say this: thank God for no track limits.
Yes. No, we go wide around here in turn 1, turn 9, and 10. We go crazy wild at those sections of the racetrack, wide of the curbing and all of that. Just to clean up the point I was just making, Will Power came on pit road on lap 12, and he is multiple laps down, and Will Power will not win the IndyCar Championship in 2024. Alex Palou going to become a 3-time champion today. My gosh, at such a young age.
Safety belts came loose.
Oh gosh, what a ridiculous reason. Oh jeez. Well, Power has found ways to lose championships in the past, remember. But that's a very strange reason right there. So here at Watkins Glen, just 5 laps to go in stage 1. I was going to say Seth will provide you updates on that Nashville race moving forward. He can still provide you updates on who's going to win the race, but the championship, Seth, is over.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Well, we talked about an Australian comeback.
Matthew, do you realize what you just said?
Oh,
this is all flying over Josh's head, Shakar.
And he's probably grateful for it. Ross Chastain by 3+ seconds ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen, Martin Truex Jr. third, Alex Bowman fourth, and with 4 to go in the stage, here's Michael McDowell pitting, non-playoff driver going with a bit of an off strategy here towards the end of this stage. Corey LaJoie just put Ty Gibbs in a very vulnerable position in turn 1. Corey's not done kamikazing everyone, I suppose.
Here we go. I heard my name, no idea what you said, probably for the best. LaJoie in front of Gibbs. Down we go. LaJoie gains a couple of places after the turn 1 drama, and it's Gibbs chasing once more, side by side, down towards you. Now single file, Seth.
Yeah, go back single file toward the bus stop. You go double file there, could be problems. Meanwhile, in the carousel, Ross Chastain is cruising past Shane Van Gisbergen, but behind the front two, it's getting chaotic with Truex, Bowman, Briscoe, and Suarez all under a blanket, and Truex keeps the spot, keeps that third position, but Briscoe, like he was going a bit wide there. I got kind of wild.
Yeah,
Van Gisbergen pitting.
Yep, more cars will be pitting here because with 3 to go in the stage, this is their last chance before pit road closes. Van Gisbergen is in. Logano is in. I think that was Zane Smith, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Corey LaJoie, Ty Gibbs. My goodness, about a third of the field, if not more.
Paul Wolfe told Joey Logano this morning, unless we can win a stage, we're going to flip it in stage 1. That's what they're doing right here. You see Shane Van Gisbergen also on pit road, Parker.
Right, and Shane Van Gisbergen's team had a lot of discussion over the last 3 laps about the fall-off, what he was feeling in the car, if they should go through this stage, but eventually they decided the fall-off was too big in these tires, and he came down to flip this stage. They believe that puts them the best strategy, as it's a very busy pit road right now.
Well, it's a very narrow pit road here at Watkins Glen, and everyone getting out. 4 tires and fuel for everyone, and you heard Marty mention the phrase there, flip the stage. You heard us talk about it in Ones to Watch. You can pit at the end of the stage so you don't have to pit under the stage yellow. That's what flipping the stage means. Here's the leader, Ross Chastain, and we expect him to come to pit road this lap. This is the last time he'll be able to before pit road closes, and indeed, here he comes. So, Chastain not in the playoffs, doesn't need to worry about the stage points. He comes to pit road, and that will hand the lead to Martin Truex Jr. with 2 laps to go in the stage, and now you get a line of playoff drivers in what's going to be a very intense battle for points and positions here. Truex, Bowman, Briscoe, Suarez, and Cindric the top 5 as they go up the hill.
Very nearly side by side we go, and very nearly sideways. Suarez getting into the side of Briscoe, still side by side as they head down the back stretch. Why do we go full screen Chastain? I do not know. We pick them back up now to the braking zone. Briscoe gets ahead, coming towards you, Seth.
Yeah, Briscoe stays right ahead of Suarez. And then you've got behind Suarez, you got Austin Cindric trying to get a spot, although he's feeling pressure at the back door from Chase Elliott, as he has throughout the entirety of this first stage. Good train here with Cindric and Suarez and Tyler Reddick, but at the front, it is all, well, I thought it was all Martin Truex Jr. Alex Bowman's close. Will it be close enough to make a move for the stage win? Truex by 2 car lengths over Bowman on the approach to 11.
Yeah, this is a really tight draft here for these top 5 or 6 towards the end of this stage. Out of turn 11, Truex coming towards the line. Last lap of stage 1 underway. His lead on Alex Bowman is only 2 car lengths. Downhill and under braking to the 90-degree right-handed turn 1. Truex is through there clean. He skates wide. Bowman does too as they go to turn 2.
Through turn 2 we go, on board with one of the Toyotas heading through this section of the track. It's Busch and Hamlin having a little look. Here's Bowman having a look at Truex Jr. coming down towards you, Seth, for the lead.
Yeah, Bowman's got a real opportunity right here to get a stage win. He gets very close, slides it a little bit coming out of the bus stop. Again, the gap is about a car length between Truex and Bowman, and Chase Briscoe isn't too far behind Bowman as they go through the carousel and onto the straightaway. It is Truex. Briscoe thought about taking a peek on Bowman, has to tuck back in line, however, and it's Truex leading Bowman and Briscoe as they go through turn 11. Looks like Truex is going to have the stage win. Battle for second could be a thing.
In the history of stage racing, no one has won more stages than Martin Truex Jr. He comes to the green and white checkered flag for his 63rd career stage win and his 4th of the season. Bowman is 2nd, Briscoe 3rd, Suarez 4th, Cindric 5th, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch nose to tail in turn 10. The reason this is important is because whoever is first at the caution will get the free pass and get their lap back, and now the caution is out and Denny Hamlin is ahead, so Hamlin will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. Kyle Busch will stay 1 lap down. So the caution flies, 20 laps complete, stage 1 done. Martin Truex Jr. with, as I mentioned, his record-extending 63rd career stage win. He now has a career 2,045 stage points. That's also the most of anyone in the history of stage racing. So stage 1 in the books, Truex able to claim the stage victory and very entertaining 20 laps. The tire fall off was visible, as everyone said it would be, with the new softer tire that Goodyear brought here. Now remember, this is not a race where we have the soft tire option like we had at Richmond, but Goodyear, the compound of tire they brought here, just softer as a whole to create more fall off, which is what a lot of drivers, teams, and fans have been longing for, and that's exactly what Goodyear has given them here this weekend. And like we said, we heard him practice and qualifying yesterday, 80 minutes of practice this week, by the way, to test the new tire and the new track conditions with less curbing at the bus stop. Drivers were saying about 3 to 4 seconds of drop-off after about 10 or 15 laps. So stage 1 is done. We are on JBM today, so no breaks from us. We're wide open and green here at Watkins Glen throughout the race. And Seth, we won't play the music this week because we are on JBM, but a wide world of sports update comes from you, my friend. And, of course, it is a busy, busy day in the NFL. Everyone in action this weekend and 10 games on the card in the early window alone. What's going on?
A lot is what's going on. The story, of course, is going to be everyone's going to be talking about tomorrow at the water cooler is what's happening in Dallas. 5:11 to go. The Saints lead 44-19. Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara have lit up the Cowboy defense. Dak Prescott has thrown 2 interceptions. Saints are on their way to a win there. Ravens have started to pull away a little bit. There's still 10:47 to go for some reason in that game. But it's Baltimore 23, Las Vegas 13. Giants and Commanders 18 apiece with 7 minutes to go. The Carolina Panthers, well, they do what they are normally doing, which is sucking. LA leads 26-3.
By the way, Seth, have you seen the amount of people that are at that game?
A lot of fans dressed as empty seats.
I mean, you know the Chargers.
And the ones that are there have Aldi bags over their face.
You know the Chargers struggle with fan base themselves in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly the Panthers do.
Yeah. L.A. leads 26-3 for Carolina. Justin Herbert did get hurt. He had to go to the medical tent briefly, but he did return to the game. Why, when you're playing the Panthers? I don't know. Green Bay, that's like Quinn Ewers should be sitting against Louisiana Monroe this weekend. But anyway, Green Bay 16, Indianapolis 10. I know I'm one to talk after reading that score. That game has not been as close as that score would indicate. Green Bay has dominated proceedings throughout. Minnesota and San Francisco, the Niners' boogeyman curse in the Twin Cities continue. 23-14 Vikings, 3:32 to go. Cleveland leads Jacksonville 16-13 to the fourth at a monsoon in Jacksonville. New England trying to get to 2-0. They lead Seattle, but the Seahawks are driving 20-17. Jets and Titans are tied at 17 with 6:59 left. Tampa leads Detroit 20-16. Baker Mayfield, that vaunted dual threat quarterback, he has a rushing touchdown in this game. And of course, 3 more games set to kick off past 4 o'clock. The Rams and the Cardinals, the Steelers and the Broncos, Bengals and the Chiefs. You got Chicago and Houston later tonight. Major League Baseball, notable games of note as far as pennant races are concerned, and wild cards. The Twins lead the Reds 9-2 at the end of the 8th. The Yankees lead the Red Sox 4-2. Mets and Phillies tied 1 apiece at the bottom of the 9th. Phillies have a runner at first with 1 out. Kansas City trails Pittsburgh 4-3 as they play in the top of the 7th. The White Sox and A's, just because I wanted to give you an update on that because everybody wants it. The White Sox actually won last night on a walk-off, and John Schriffen thought they had won the World Series. White Sox lead 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. One final today, Detroit beat Baltimore 4-2. The Tigers making a late playoff push. So as they beat the Orioles, who are fading, you got a bunch of games coming up at 4 o'clock. L.A. and Atlanta, it's a massive game tonight as far as the playoffs are concerned. The Dodgers are going to be there, but they're still trying to get the 1 seed, and the Braves are trying to get in. They're right now tied with the Mets for that last wild card spot. First NFL final today, by the way, has come to the wire. It is a final in Charlotte. The Rams. The Chargers beat the Panthers 26-3. Matthew?
All right, very good. Thank you, Seth. The drivers that did not
Oh,
pit.
one more thing. I'm sorry, real quick. Not that it really matters at this point in time, but Texas, the new number 1 team in college football.
All right. Can certainly see why. But again, to your point, does not matter at all. But can certainly see why. Drivers that did not pit before the stage caution, that got the stage points, just came down pit road. Truex wins the race off of pit road, but they will file in line behind the drivers that did pit before the stage ended. So Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen will be back at the front of the field. And Seth, I'm going to put you back to work. September the 15th is the date.
Oh, you know what? Let me pull it up real quick. I completely forgot about that. Go, Anthony, run out of bounds. There you go. Colts still have a chance to win this game. It's not a great chance, but it's a chance nevertheless. They're at their own 40 with 9 seconds and no timeouts, down 6. Green Bay will need to be firing everybody if they somehow lose this game. Good grief. September 15th, the date you said?
That's right.
Actually, I don't need to ask you for that. I can look at the calendar. I can remember what day it is. September the 15th. All right, birthdays. You want birthdays? I don't know if I have one that anybody knows. This is why Matt's so good at this.
Yeah, he knows every race car driver in the history of time.
There is someone named Matt White that does have a birthday today, by the way, on this list here. He's from Northfield, Vermont. He ran in the ACT Late Model Tour. He also participated in the 2013 Vermont Lottery Commission Governor's Cup and the 2015 Northfield Savings Bank Milk Bowl.
The Milk Bowl coming to surely the USR and Race Club at some point.
Here's a couple of NASCAR. It's 2 NASCAR birthdays. Quinn Houff, however you say his name, was born on this day in 1997, and Paulie Haraka was born on this day in 1989. The most recent Cup Series race on this day was in 2019. Martin Truex Jr. winning the South Point 400 at Las Vegas. On this day in 2023, Justin Allgaier won the Xfinity Series Food City 300. On this day in 2018, Ross Chastain won the Xfinity Series DC Solar 300 at Las Vegas. On this day in 2017, Johnny Sauter won the House.com 225 at Chicagoland. That's the house, actually. Matt Kenseth won at Chicago on this day in 2013 at the Geico 400. Ryan Blaney had a much better September 15th in 2012 when he won the American Ethanol 200 presented by Hy-Vee for the Truck Series at Iowa. On this day in 2012, Ed Carpenter won the MAV TV 500 at California.
Huh.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won the Nationwide Series, Dollar General 300 at Chicagoland. On this day in 2007, Ron Hornaday Jr. won the Craftsman Truck Series New Hampshire 200 at New Hampshire, because as opposed to New Hampshire 200 at Watkins Glen. And God almighty, that is a bright vanilla suit Daryl Johnson's wearing. Just saw at the corner of my eye. On this day in 2002, Sam Hornish Jr. wins the Chevy 500 at Texas. Also on this day in 2002, Ryan Newman got his first career Cup win at the New Hampshire 300, and Rubens Barrichello won the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. This day in 1996, Richie Hearn won the Las Vegas 500K for the Indy cars, and Jeff Gordon did what he did best in the 90s, won the MBNA 500 at Dover Downs. Michael Andretti on this day in 1991 took the CART Pioneer Electronics 200. This day in 1991, Gant wins the Peak Antifreeze 500. Harry Gant winning at Dover. On this day in 1990, he also won the Ames Splitfire 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. On this day in 1985, Jack Ingram won the Busch Series Coca-Cola 300 at North Wilkesboro, and Ayrton Senna won the Belgian Grand Prix, and Harry Gant won the Delaware 500 for the Cup Series at Dover. On this day in 1974, Richard Petty won the Cup Series Delaware 500 at Dover. 1979, in the IROC, Gordon Johncock won the CART qualifier at Michigan. And then Bobby Unser did it at Michigan in the Gould Grand Prix, also on this day in 1979. And finally, on this day in 1917, it was the Providence race 1, 2, and 3, won by Ralph Mulford and Tommy Milton, respectively. Milton winning both races 2 and 3 at the Narragansett Park Speedway. So that's what happened on this day in racing history. That's Track by Oak 8 in Cranston, Rhode Island, and it's perfect timing.
Very good. That California race that Ed Carpenter won, Ryan Hunter-Reay won the championship that night, one of the ones Will Power lost. Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell on the front row as we get the green flag to start stage 2 at Watkins Glen, and Shane Van Gisbergen was pushing Chastain down the straightaway, and as they go under braking to turn 1, they're 4 wide further back. Daniel Suarez got out of shape and hit somebody and turns him around. I think it's Tyler Reddick. It is. Reddick is beached on the outside of turn 1. He picks up a gear, Josh, and gets back going.
Reddick gets back going, as you said, side by side, multiple rows deep. That's Gibbs getting involved with Buescher. Gibbs dropping down a couple of positions, down the backstretch, getting a little bit loose. Was Gibbs down towards you, Seth?
Ross Chastain leads. Oh my goodness, they're kicking up off a bit or more than a rooster tail of dirt through that bus stop. Good job, everybody, though, being able to get through it, see through it, and not cause any accidents, at least for now. Here's Ross Chastain, not Ross Chastain, Noah Gragson feeling the heat from, is that his teammate in the other Bed Bath & Beyond car? It might be. It's Ross Chastain who leads. That's Gragson and Chris Buescher battling with Christopher Bell right behind him.
Someone smokes up the tires getting into turn 11 as Christopher Bell, involved in that lap 1 accident, got to the inside of Noah Gragson, couldn't make the pass in turn 11. Chastain shows the way back to turn 1. Juan Pablo Montoya, middle of this pack behind him. They are all over the place. Alex Bowman locked up the left front. Chase Briscoe's got Austin Cindric and Daniel Hemrick going outside. They were nearly 4 wide as they funnel into turn 2.
3 wide through turn 2. Cindric does the right thing to pull out and go 2 wide. Little bit of dust being kicked up. Down the backstretch we go for Chase Elliott. And did someone get sideways, Seth?
I couldn't quite tell, but it is Ross Chastain who shows the way. Meanwhile, you've got a gaggle wide back there in the back with Alex Bowman and others. Whoa, Chase Briscoe off the course. Chase Elliott to the outside of Daniel Hemrick. Eric Jones right behind him as well in that Family $1.43 machine as they go through the carousel. Onto the back stretch, Chastain keeps about a 4-car length lead over McDowell, with Van Gisbergen, and Zane Smith trying to working his way up to the front here early on in the second stage. Further back, Juan Pablo Montoya in a battle. Let's go back to the start, Matthew.
Yeah, so on the restart, and these restarts are always wild here because of the funnel effect into turn one, Daniel Suarez, I think, ended up getting in the middle of a couple of cars, and he was the one that punted Reddick. Oh my gosh, Reddick went charging into that corner so much faster than he needed to be, and then Suarez got loose somehow. I'm not sure if he just lost control of the car under braking or if Kyle Larson got into him. No, I think Austin Cindric got into Suarez, knocked him sideways and in to Tyler Reddick, who went spinning. And again, on a road course like this, you go on a single-car spin, you're not always going to get a caution. So for Reddick, he loses all of those spots, all of that track position, and there was no caution. So he just rejoins at the tail end of the field and well off the leaders.
Oh.
So the leaders head to turn 10, Seth.
A wobble from Michael McDowell, and that allows Joey Logano to eat him up at turn 11. Here comes Logano to the inside.
So Logano, the winner from a weekend ago in Atlanta, pulls alongside McDowell out of turn 11. McDowell got the better drive off the corner and down the straightaway. Zane Smith in the middle of this battle, along with his teammate, Corey LaJoie. And all of these guys at the front, these are drivers that pitted before the stage caution, stayed out under the stage caution, and now they're up at the front again, Josh.
Yeah, Cindric, will he go side by side, maybe 3 wide? No, he stays single file. Last lap, he went 3 wide and very nearly did a sandwich there. In towards the bus stop we go, Seth.
Did a sandwich. We put that in the vernacular for the next several weeks. As they go through the bus stop, Carson Hocevar trying to put some pressure on William Byron back there at 8th place. Chris Buescher right there, too. It is still Ross Chastain who has the lead. Meanwhile, McDowell, Logano, and Smith, all 3 under a blanket as they work through turn 10. And now through turn 11 they go. And again, they stay single file. Martin Truex Jr. stuck back in the 17th position.
Yeah, Truex, of course, the winner of the stage, but then pitted under the stage caution. So now he is mired in traffic, just as Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson and Daniel Suarez is. Only 3 playoff drivers in the top 10 here, with all of the moving and shaking at what happened at the end of that opening stage. But Truex seems to have a good car today, Josh.
Yes, he does seem to have a good car trying to get back up the field. We are on board with him now. And, well, beautiful. As we have a look at some beautiful water sport activities. I've got the battle cam open at turn 1, but nothing's happening. Oh, here comes Denny Hamlin.
It is a very beautiful part of the country, the Finger Lake region of New York. And, well, Seth, as was said on Friday from Uncle Cooter, it is high stakes in the Finger Lakes.
You did not bring that up. Oh, my God.
High stakes in the Finger Lakes, indeed. Out of turn 11 come the leaders, and Shane Van Gisbergen is closed in on race leader Ross Chastain. And going off into turn number 1, Chastain trying to play defense on Van Gisbergen. They clear turn 1, sling it wide, and head up the hill to turn 2.
Up the hill they go. Ross Chastain, Shane Van Gisbergen, and we know how Shane Van Gisbergen is on. And how he is in road courses. Down the back stretch we go. Has Shane Van Gisbergen got enough slipstream? There's a couple of flames out the exhaust as they come into the bus stop, Seth.
Chastain right ahead of Van Gisbergen. I am pulling a Kevin Harlan and multitasking almost because I am paying attention to the race. But the corner of my eye, the witching hour is witching houring as Van Gisbergen gets a good beat on Chastain on the back straight. Okay, every time I do a camera shot that thing, I think there's a wreck. What the hell's going on here? The cameraman's had a mare. Oh, zoom in on the ass. Go, Cole.
Here come
There he is. Ross Chastain lead.
Here come the leaders back to turn 11. Van Gisbergen, just as he was last time out of the 11th corner, is just a car length behind Ross Chastain on the main straightaway. Behind them, Michael McDowell has a tenuous advantage on Joey Logano for third, then Zane Smith and Corey LaJoie. Top two have pulled away from everyone else, but behind those top two, it is quite a show, a huge line of traffic. Let's pick up the leaders up the hill.
Focusing on the front two, Chastain getting a little bit of a slide through turn two. Now we look further back to Buescher and Hostfer side by side. Hostfer up the inside, gets ahead. We pick back up with the leaders as we have a lock-up for Briscoe in turn one. I just saw on the camera. Over to you, Seth.
Battle is on, and battle's on for third, too. With all due respect, we should be focusing for the lead. Oh, that's right. The top two aren't playoff drivers, so who cares right now?
Oh, God.
And, okay, the cameraman is... well, there's having your head on a swivel, and then there's whatever this guy or gal's doing today. That's somebody who doesn't understand the rules of camera operating right there.
All right.
Chastain leads out of 11.
Here on USRN and JBMotorsports, and obviously we are going to cover the race, but there is breaking news. There has been shots fired at former President Donald Trump at a golf club in Florida. This has just been reported by multiple news outlets, including ABC and CBS. Donald Trump is reported to be safe. Again, let me repeat that. Donald Trump is reported to be safe following gunshots fired in his vicinity at Trump National Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida. Again, that is breaking news that has come across here inside the last half hour or so. Shots have been fired at former President Donald Trump at one of his golf clubs in Florida. He is reported safe. This would, of course, be the second assassination attempt on Donald Trump in the last 2 months, with the other one coming at a rally in Pennsylvania. That is breaking news. It's just been handed to us. Trump is reported safe, and if we get any other news, we will report it along to you. But, of course, this is a sports network. It is our job to comment on sports, which we will continue to do. But that is obviously news that, again, it's just absolutely ridiculous what's happening in American politics in this country. That everyone seems to believe the answer to everyone is if you don't like someone, shoot them. We pick up the leaders, Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen, towards Seth Eves and the bus stop chicane.
Chastain with the lead, and Van Gisbergen now right there in the slipstream, as Logano is going to reel McDowell in for third further back, but it is Chastain. Continues to show the way over Van Gisbergen. It's a 2-car length advantage on the straightaway, heading to turn 10 and turn 11. It is Ross Chastain who continues to show the way here. So it's Ross Chastain in the lead as they go through turn 11.
Chastain doing a really good job at absorbing this pressure that Van Gisbergen has put on him. But remember, SVG did this in the first stage against Martin Truex Jr., just stalked him, eventually was able to break through and knock the door down on Truex. It's what he's trying to do here to Chastain. Fight for third is still a good one. McDowell, Logano, Smith, and LaJoie, but we'll follow the leaders up the hill to Josh again.
Up the hill we go, on board with Shane Van Gisbergen, trying to take the shortest line possible. Picture in picture with the battle for first and third. Here comes Logano, pulls alongside McDowell. McDowell goes to defend. Down to you, Seth, with this raging battle.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen's doing all he can to try and get Chastain for the race lead. We're trying to follow our mantra that the playoffs might be the most important thing, but they are not the only thing. We want to focus on this battle for the lead, but Logano at the same time is pressuring McDowell. He goes a bit wide, opens up the door for Zane Smith. Corey LaJoie, the wrecking ball, is in 6th place. I guess he likes listening to Miley Cyrus in his car. I came in like a wrecking ball. Ross Chastain leads through turn 11.
Thank goodness that's over. As Chastain swings up out of turn 11, extends his lead on Van Gisbergen by an extra car length and a half. Meanwhile, the fight for third on the main straightaway rages on. McDowell, Logano, Smith, and LaJoie. This line in this battle for third, goodness gracious, how many are in this line nose to tail as they come to you, Josh? It looks to be at least a dozen, if not more.
Yep, absolutely. More than a dozen. Briscoe kept wide. Exit of turn 1 coming up towards turn 2. And up the hill we go. Now in towards turn 3 we go. Battle behind. Just entering turn 2 of Logano and McDowell. As we go down the backstretch towards you, Seth. And, well, I've got JB and Seth doing wrecking ball jokes. So, well, I think I'm wrecking balled out.
No more from me. I just had to do it like that. As here is James Small, the crew chief for the 19. Why are we paying attention? I guess that's who we're embedded with this week is James Small.
Oh, who knows?
Who came up big in that first stage for Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah,
Ross Chastain leads out of turn 11.
11 points for Truex, plus an extra playoff point there with that stage win. We are closing in on the end of stage 2, which has been fast-moving. 5 to go in the stage. Chastain leading Van Gisbergen across the line by 0.8 of a second. Now, we talk about the tire fall off. These drivers from third on back are now 9 seconds behind the leader, and Logano still is not stepping out on McDowell. But if any of these drivers want to pit before the stage ends, Josh, are going to have to do it over the next couple of laps.
Yep, of course, pits close with 2 to go in the stage. Look at all of those marbles off on the racing line up through turn 3. And it's all single file right now. Chastain and Van Gisbergen. Still, the gap is 0.8 as we go into the bus stop.
Yep, as they work through turns 10 and, they go through the carousel. McDowell stays in front of Logano while Logano has the pressure from Zane Smith. Smith now trying to go to the outside. Now he'll tuck back in line as they continue to work their way through. Meanwhile, at the front, Michael McDowell continuing to get Logano. Now you got Corey LaJoie fighting his teammate Zane Smith.
Juan Pablo Montoya moving up through traffic here in this run as he's going to come to pit road here with Chris Buescher. Montoya had moved up to 12th. Really good run from him in this second stage. He hits pit road along with Chris Buescher. They'll try to get an extra lap on fresh tires to try to jump some traffic here before a lot of other ones come to pit road on the next lap, Josh.
Here is the battle for third. McDowell has a couple of car lengths on Logano as Larson pulls into his pit box on the home straight.
Okay, so no one down there for NBC to cover the Kyle Larson stop. Let's pick up the battle for third, heading to the outer loop.
Yeah, Michael McDowell keeping Joey Logano at bay for third place. It is McDowell, though, staying ahead of him. Oh, somebody's lost a wheel on pit road. Look out!
That's a penalty for someone, of course. Uncontrollable tire. Couldn't quite tell what pit box that had come from. Here's Chastain and Van Gisbergen swinging out of 11, and they will come to the line to start the anti-penultimate lap of the stage. It's a long wait to the third and fourth place drivers, and here's McDowell going to come to pit road. Zane Smith is, Corey LaJoie is, but critically, Joey Logano is not. So Logano in third is not pitting here. Of course, if Chastain and Van Gisbergen pit on the next lap, which they can do, that would put Logano in position to win this stage. And we heard earlier that they would flip stages today, Logano, unless they had a chance to win the stages.
And he lost rear grip the longer they ran. Also lost his corner entry advantage he had earlier in turns 1 and turn 7. And man, this is a busy pit road.
Spun around, 99 car spun around in turn 6. He is borderline in the gravel. He's stuck. He cannot.
Suarez, Seth, right at your feet, Seth. Suarez has beached it with the right rear. That's probably going to be a yellow.
This is going to change the complexion of this race even more.
Are the
He is
leaders?
absolutely
Oh,
featuring-
no, the leaders are not going to get to pit road before the caution comes out. That changes everything. Caution is out, and the leaders, Chastain and Van Gisbergen, were coming towards turn 11 and were likely going to pit. That was their last chance to pit before pit road is closed. The caution comes out first. That is enormous for them, and it's enormous for Suarez, who falls a lap down, Seth. How in the world did he end up there?
It's a stupid place to go off. Nobody was near him.
Oh.
I'm going to guess that's either a tire or a mechanical situation there, because there was no one near him.
Oh, man, has that changed this race?
And Ross has got to be like, thanks, teammate.
Oh, no kidding. Suarez falls a lap down. Huge for him, of course, as a part of the playoffs. And Chastain and Van Gisbergen, who were presumably going to pit in basically one corner. But, oh, my goodness, was the tire from Brad Keselowski? Oh, it was.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
Boy, not a good
another-
day for playoff drivers.
Another playoff driver. That's going to be a penalty for Brad. Now, because the caution came out, he won't have to serve a drive-through. His penalty will be starting at the tail end of the line on this upcoming restart. My gosh. What a mess.
Oh, drama. Larson to the
More?
rear.
Oh, good. What happened with him?
Vehicle interference.
What?
Well, that's...
Okay, then.
Suarez has gotten out from the sand trap. Now, if we still had a sand trap in turn 1, we would have called it the Jarrett sand trap, but he never went off in 10 over there on that day in 2001.
50 laps of racing to
Yeah.
go, so a whole nother pit stop. We see the 99 make it to his pit stall.
And the irony of it, one Trackhouse car leading and one Trackhouse car causes the caution.
Well, Seth said it. Playoff drivers are not exactly having the best of days. Hamlin and Blaney and Bell and Keselowski involved in that lap 1 skirmish in the inner loop. That took Blaney out for the day. Heavy damage and totally affecting Hamlin, rest of Hamlin's day. Then you have Daniel Suarez fall a lap down with this spin. You've got a pit road penalties to Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski. Holy Moses. What a mess. So this stage is going to end under yellow here, and Ross Chastain is going to win the stage. Oh, by the way, I forgot about Tyler Reddick getting punted on the stage 2 restart. That was in a wad of traffic, and he got punted around by Suarez. Goodness gracious. Kyle Busch does get the free pass. Thank you, Josh. So Busch does get the free pass, and he'll get back on the lead lap. Now, we have a hell of a situation in Baltimore.
I was just going to say, I was about to cheat and beat you to the wide world of sports. We got a lot of crazy situations. The witching hour is witching hour.
And
the
Raiders.
Josh doesn't know what that is, and again, Josh, that's probably for the best. But all right, live play-by-play here. 38-yard field goal. Raiders attempted it for the win.
Oh, yeah, you're behind.
For the lead,
Sorry.
I should say.
I forgot you're behind on that.
Daniel Carlson got it. Yes, Josh, what's the fact about this particular free pass?
This is from Seth Eggert on Twitter. This is Kyle Busch's 71st career free pass
Good Lord.
in the NASCAR Cup Series, tying him for 18th with his brother, Kurt Busch.
Who keeps up with that stuff?
Should we go to the rest of the wide World of Sports update again?
Yes, we should.
We also have to do the hot lap. I'm waiting for confirmation from somebody. I got dead silence.
Yes, sorry. I said yes, we should.
A few days after Kyler Murray said it wasn't his job to force feed Marvin Harrison Jr., Murray fines Marvin Harrison Jr. for a touchdown. Cardinals up 7-0 on the Rams 4 minutes in. You just heard the call. The Raiders lead the Ravens 26-23. Other games going on there are so the Raiders-Ravens is the only 1 o'clock game that has not gone final. Saints beat the Cowboys 44-19. It's a hallelujah day in D.C. because the Commanders finally beat the Giants 21-18 on a last-second field goal. L.A. beat Carolina 26-3. Green Bay beat Indy 16-10. Colts had a Hail Mary that got down. Minnesota did hold off San Francisco 23-17. Jacksonville nearly had a stupid Hail Mary catch, but they lose to Cleveland in a monsoon 18-13. Seattle beats New England in overtime 23-20. The Jets survive in Nashville. They beat the Titans 24-17. Jermaine Johnson, though, likely he's done for the year. He hurt his Achilles. And Tampa Bay gets revenge on Detroit for the playoff game from last year. 20-16, the Bucks win. We are about 7 minutes away from the 4:25 games starting. Pittsburgh and Denver. It'll be Justin Fields again starting for the Steelers. And the Bengals and the Chiefs, as Jamar Chase ran his mouth all week and will probably F around and find out again. Also, Phillies walked off the Mets in baseball, so that's huge for the NL wild card. That puts more impetus on that Atlanta-LA game later tonight. AL wild card right now, Braves a half a game up on the Mets for that last wild card spot. In the American League, Minnesota leads Detroit by 2.5, Seattle by 3, and Boston by 4. And speaking of Boston, news coming out earlier this afternoon. It's a big one from our line of work, Matthew. Red Sox Hall of Famer Joe Castiglione, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Red Sox, announcing his retirement from the WEEI broadcast booth. That was tweeted out about 2:33 this afternoon. 42 years as radio voice of the Red Sox, and he is hanging up the headset after an illustrious Hall of Fame career.
Fabulous career. Stage 2 has just ended under caution. Ross Chastain wins the stage, his second of the year. Shane Van Gisbergen third, Shane Van Gisbergen second, rather. Joey Logano third, Ty Gibbs fourth, William Byron fifth. Burton, Briscoe, Bowman, Preece, and Hamlin also getting the points-paying positions here at the end of Stage 2. Now, Josh, did you say we got clarification on the Larson penalty, which is just a bit strange sounding?
Yes. So, Mr. Pockcrass has come in clutch once again and has said vehicle interference is cutting in or out of your pit box that impacted another team's pit stop, what the orange lines and boxes are for.
Okay, very good. Now, the Ravens, to have a chance to get a game-tying field goal, all they need to get is to about midfield to give Tucker a chance. See if Lamar can do that. He's trying.
Well, you're behind. You're ahead.
No,
you're ahead.
It's dropped by Likely. There's 1 second left.
You are ahead. There is a second left.
Oh, man, he nearly made that catch too, Likely.
All right. I'm just now seeing this. Oh! What a hit.
He's nearly come up with some miraculous catches so far this year.
Real quick, Caitlin Clark and the Fever are down 2 to Dallas. Caitlin has 20 points and 6 assists.
Now it's a Hail Mary. Got to go 59
Okay.
yards.
Oh, God. Hot lap. Hot lap. Hot lap. I don't know how. Wait a minute. I can mute you. That's right. Can't mute you. Okay.
And we got a bunch of cars coming to pit road. Ty Gibbs, William Byron, Harrison Burton, and others under this caution.
Pits for the 4th place position here in this stage. They got to that position by flipping the first stage, and that got them transition to get some points here. Remember, they came into this race +1 above the cut line, so those are crucial points for the 54 team, Kim.
Well, Parker, for last year's winner, William Byron, a little debate on what to do during this caution. Ultimately, Byron saying we have to make the car better. They are making significant adjustments. He said, I just need way more lateral grip, wants to be better in traffic, so do expect a longer stop for some changes here for William Byron.
Defending winner of this race, William Byron, so not happy with the handling of that car, and you heard Kim report that they are making having an extended stop to make a lot of changes to that race car.
All right, muting again.
So that's, well, now we're getting, okay, so here is the Larson penalty.
Car's cameras. If they can see the orange box, they know the right side of the car is well over the orange line. So if we roll forward just a little bit, you're going to see Kyle Larson. I mean, he straddles the orange line.
Well, that's forward. That's forward.
And this is a major disadvantage to the 43 of Eric Jones. That's why those are there. So those aren't inbounds and out of bounds. I don't want to make it sound like you can't touch the line. And if the 43 wasn't there, he has the right to use that box. But this was 2 years ago. NASCAR put this in place. This is for protection of the crew members. We rarely see this. I have to wonder. We see drivers drive through a lot of pit boxes, and another issue of Kyle Larson. Remember, the driver is on the left side, away from pit wall. The opposite of every other time he comes down pit road for the year. I think that has something to do with it. Let's listen in.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, because I'm not even, it's hard to see that orange box when it's at your right front versus left front. I thought I was being extremely cautious, but I guess not.
So you're here, right front versus left front. I know it sounds silly, but it's backwards. I mean, I'm not going to ask you, Diff. I know you've probably driven on the wrong side of the road some. But if I go to a country that drives on the wrong side of the road, I have to think every left turn and right turn, which lane I'm turning into. Sure. It's the same idea. He's on the wrong side. And I have to admit, I wanted to see how, obvious the call was. Big stack up right here.
Darrell Wallace Jr. is stopped on the exit of the inner loop.
Ready for the hot lap when you are.
Well, we're going green now. So, I don't know why Darrell Wallace Jr. had stopped. He had a pit road penalty. Very good. So there were...
I'll keep it short and sweet. Alexander Rossi leads the Music City Grand Prix at Nashville with 102 laps to go. Yesterday, Connor Zilic won the Xfinity race. He ran away and hid. Sheldon Creed was second again. And Oscar Piastri won in Azerbaijan this morning.
Yes, and Lando Norris did just finish ahead of Max Verstappen, so that
and
championship...
McLaren take the lead in the constructor standings.
Yeah, that championship's over because Sergio Perez is a doofus. But anyway, here we come then to the start of the final stage.
I heard that one in a while. I like it.
Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen on the front row coming to begin the final stage at Watkins Glen. Green flag in the air with just under 50 laps to go. And here's Chase Briscoe fanning to the inside. Thinks better of. Going 3 wide. They are 3 and 4 wide heading into the corner in the middle of the pack. They all fan out wide of the corner. And are they all going to be able to get back on track safely?
3 wide, up the hill we go. Can they make it all cleanly through? On towards the backstretch we go. And it's Byron, Logano side by side with Hocefer and Buescher involved in that, making it 3 wide down towards the bus stop. Seth.
Yeah, Logano and Buescher. Oh, Logano nearly cut off the car that was right behind him there. There was Hocefer, and now Hocefer kicks up some dirt. John Hunter Nemechek's in that mess. Juan Pablo Montoya now inside the top 10 as he battles with John Hunter Nemechek for a position as they swing around the carousel. They loop-de-loop through as they go, but it's Ross Chastain who still leads Shane Van Gisbergen on the approach to turn 10. Montoya and Nemechek trade a little bit of paint. Brexton's not too far back either.
Montoya slings it wide to driver's right. He'll stay to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek for turn 11, and Montoya is going to make that pass. Now Nemechek looks to his right. Noah Gragson is to his inside. Gragson will take that spot into turn 1. Here's Chase Elliott going deep into the corner. He gets into Austin Cindric, who then gets into Todd Gilliland and shoves him wide of the curbing in turn 1.
Logano and Montoya side by side. I never thought I would see this in NASCAR. As we look back, Todd Gilliland recovering, and we have got Austin Dillon involved in that with Ty Gibbs. They single file for now, but double file further back. I believe that is with Hamlin, who is recovering down in towards the bus stop. Byron, correction, and Hamlin, yes.
Yeah, and they go through that bus stop. Here is Alex Bowman now battling with the 15 cars. They go through the carousel. Daniel Hemrick is not too far back from this particular battle. This is outside of the top 10 as they work their way through the carousel, the straightaway, and they nearly make contact into 10. That's Kaz Gralla, by the way, who Bowman's battling with. Also there, you got Daniel Hemrick and Ryan Preece as they go to turn 11.
This is all at the fringe of the top 20 here. Bowman, the Chicago winner, trying to get through some traffic. Further up, here's Truex. He's going after John Hunter Nemechek here in turn 1. And Truex will have positioning on Nemechek as they go through 1. Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe radio.
No win if we pit, I don't feel like.
I understand, but if we scored 12 points, I think, today, and if we give all of those back because we end up wadded up, I just don't think that's a wise decision.
I get it. I mean, I can be smart about it. I just know if I start back there with them, like, it's going to be hard. Like, we're just going to all have the same amount of points.
So that team leaning on the driver to make that decision. Chase feeling really good. Marty, he's spent the week with road course ace Joey Hand preparing for Watkins Glen.
Same thought process for Joey Logano, the winner last week in Atlanta. He's already advanced to the round of 12. Paul Wolf told me, listen, that was really our only move, not to pit there, and all we need out of Joey is 10 to 12 hard laps. Their plan, they'll come about lap 53 or 54, and they should be done pitting for the day, Parker.
And Marty, right at the end of stage 2 there, we saw the 99 spun into the gravel into turn 6 and caused that caution that sort of flipped this race on its head. And I want to point out what happened here. If you look at this wheel, it actually split apart. The reason it was loose, and when these wheels are loose, Steve, they sort of rub and actually split the wheel apart. That caused the flat tire, and that caused them to spin, which brought out the caution. Those are the mistakes that compound in these races. You just cannot make them.
Yeah. Well, it certainly did change the race completely, that Daniel Suarez caution. Josh, Kyle Larson after the penalty trying to get through traffic.
Yep, and he is side by side with Keselowski up in towards turns 2 and 3 and up towards the backstretch he goes. Keselowski in front of Larson as they enter the backstretch. Keselowski trying to defend. Larson looks on the outside in towards the bus stop chicane we go.
Yeah, indeed, as Daniel Hemrick battles, and now you got Ty Gibbs and Ryan Preece side by side with William Byron just ahead of them. So that's a battle they're just behind them, I should say. But yeah, just a minute ago, Larson nearly spun out trying to make a move on Keselowski. He is desperate. Byron's desperate too. He's going to try and get around Preece from P22 through turns 10 and 11.
Yeah, and the reason they're desperate now is because it's going to be really hard to make up track position from here on out because we're done with stages now. So flipping a stage or staying out to score stage points, all of that's over with. And now you've got what you've got for these last, 40-plus laps. Now there's going to be pit stops still to be made, but this is a problem for Larson and Byron here for the remainder of this race. Got a caution on the racetrack. Denny Hamlin's crashed. Josh, that's at you.
That is indeed at me down the hill. He goes, and I believe it was just a spin. We're awaiting a replay. I've just seen in the crowd. A fan has got a cup, and it's in the shape of a NASCAR gas can. Here's a replay 4 wide.
He's at
Hamlin
least hit
shots back.
He's at least hit the rear here because the rear didn't have damage. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, whammo.
Wow. Well, Josh, that's trying to go 3 wide in the S's, and that never works.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go 3 wide at the S's. That's why we've had Gibbs pull out of 3 wide, because he didn't want that to happen. But it was Larson, Keselowski, and Hamlin. And, well, that didn't really go well, did it, for the playoff drivers?
I don't know why Hamlin thought he could go around the outside of 2 cars at that section of the racetrack, and he's just compounding his mistakes right now. Hamlin is. This has been a disastrous first 2 races of the playoffs for Denny.
Well, then. Tires. There's the tire. Keselowski said his car looks fine. Joe Burrow is driving right down the field in the opening drive of this game. A big 4th down conversion to Gesicki. They got 3rd and goal at the 4. As if on cue, they took a timeout. And 1 week after beating Collins, who's usually one of our better fantasy players, I'm going to lose to one of our worst fantasy players, Pierre. Matthew has gone away. I will go away as well, real quick, because I'm fat and I'm always hungry. So I'll be right back.
So under caution here, Denny Hamlin crashing in the S's, climbing the hill, contact with Brad Keselowski. And Hamlin on pit road.
And they all got slow together, and then 3 wide in a space made for 1.5.
Points as they run now. Denny Hamlin, 18 outside the cut line. This has been an expensive couple of races for the FedEx team at Joe Gibbs Racing.
They did win Bristol in the spring.
But you're gonna need to win Bristol in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just, look, can he? Absolutely. He can win everywhere we go. But I don't think you never want to be put in the must-win position. Let's see if anybody feels like now's the time. Looks like there's some anticipation there from pit road for the 22 car. Leaders stay on the racetrack. I can't tell if pit road's open or not.
Just let your eyes drift back a little bit as Logano first goes. You'll see the red and white car of Carson Hocevar and the black number 50 of Juan Pablo Montoya. They've made up 28 and 26 positions respectively. Marty, Logano.
Joey Logano pits out of the 10th position at the time and coming to pit road here. They are outside of their fuel window, but again, this is what a win in the bank does for you. Trying something a little bit different. So the car was better on that run, but man, he was hanging on at the end, Kim.
Disastrous day for Brad Keselowski, so they just had to do something different strategy-wise. Matt McCall bringing him down this stop, trying to stretch that fuel window, but Brad Keselowski just complaining about a little bit tight, especially in the right-hander, so they're going to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel.
Regardless of what happens from here to the checkered flag, we're going to leave Watkins Glen saying it was costly for the playoff drivers.
Well, no doubt about that. Hear those words from the terrific Lee Diffie. And what a mess this has turned into for so many of these playoff drivers like Blaney and Hamlin and Keselowski, and ill-handling cars from Byron and Larson, and penalties to Larson and Keselowski, and what else in the world? And Daniel Suarez with his issue too. And right about now, guys, I don't know if we have a really good understanding of who's even going to win the race.
Hot take. I like races like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody's like, everybody wants to be pure. They want the best driver to win, even if it's boring these days. Not like unpredictability.
Oh, boy. So, Josh, while we're under this caution, let's make sure we're not getting the chews here, are we? Ah, yes, we are
Yes,
getting
we
the
are.
chews. So, real quick, Josh, before we get the restart, tell us what's coming up on JBM.
You're going to make me quickly get the spreadsheet up, aren't you? So, I know next weekend for a fact it is the British Touring Car Championship. Ooh, as there's a caution over in IndyCar. That was a hard hit for that driver. But yeah, it is the British Touring Car Championship at Silverstone, the penultimate round of the season. And then we have the final on the 5th and 6th of October, where we have people on site. Myself, Josh, and Jess will all be on site to bring you the whole of the final round of that one. But focusing on next weekend, of course, we've got Singapore for Formula One and F1 Academy, F1 Academy around Singapore. That's going to be interesting. Emilia Romagna also for the MotoGPs, and for the NASCAR side, it is, of course, Bristol for the final round of 16 race. Matthew, we're coming to the restart.
Are we sure that you three are all allowed to be in the same place at once? Is that allowed?
Yes. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, here come the leaders towards the restart. Ross Chastain inside of row 1. To his outside, Shane Van Gisbergen. Green flag goes up in the air. Chastain got a really good restart that time, and he swoops up across the nose of Van Gisbergen, gets a clean entry into turn 1. They both skate wide on the exit of the corner, and we all funnel out of turn 1 and up the hill.
Or close, three wide, multiple rows deep. Did they not learn from the cause of the last caution? But all single file out front is Chastain, Van Gisbergen, McDowell, LaJoy. Still your top 4. Pull out alongside the SVG. Down towards the bus stop. Isn't able to make a move, Seth.
Chastain keeps his lead as they go through the bus stop. First time on this restart as they weave and wobble through the bus stop and now into the carousel. It is still Ross Chastain with 41 to go in the race. He leads this field by about a car length. Now McDowell trying to reel Van Gisbergen in as they continue to go through and through. McDowell tucks back in line behind Van Gisbergen. Ross Chastain, though, still leads. McDowell's putting pressure on. Oh, and now a move here. Carson Hocevar on Chase Briscoe for 5th.
Hocevar went wide in 10, cut to the inside of Briscoe in 11. Doesn't get a great drive off the corner, Hocevar, and now that invites Noah Gragson into this rugby scrum as they all dive into turn 1. Briscoe with a defensive line. Hocevar will have to try to go around the outside. Gregson's watching this battle every step of the way.
Here we go, down. Hamlin has met minimum speed. Up the hill we go. And all single file, a couple of double file as we look far back into the field. Maybe at the front, Buescher and LaJoy, their battle raging on as they head towards the bus stop chicane for the next time.
We continue to work through that bus stop. It is Ross Chastain who continues to show the way through the bus stop. Again, they go. It is Chastain. Meanwhile, Zane Smith kicks up some dirt back in the pack. Kyle Larson trying to work his way back up towards the front. He gets around he tries and will get around the Eric Jones automobile.
So Larson makes that pass on Eric Jones, trying to make up lost ground. He is running in the 25th position as the leader's under braking to turn 10. Ty Gibbs slings it wide out of turn 10, sets up for turn 11. He's got Tyler Reddick just in behind, 2x2 ahead of Gibbs as he exits turn number 11. Now here's Larson. He's going to pull right underneath the rear spoiler of Zane Smith going to turn 1. And Larson will back away on the approach to 1 as Smith and Logano go door to door.
Door to door, indeed. Down side by side, Logano very nearly cuts off the front bumper of Zane Smith. And that could have ended very badly. They all single file out. Down the backstretch we go for the next time. Here's Larson trying to make moves, trying to get back up the field on Smith as we go down towards the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, 23rd is where the old Saints hit the major lockup in the bus stop. Larson trying to eat him up. Gets off the course and into the grass. Smith, though, stays in front of him. Larson now, that chrome horn might be coming out soon because he has got to go somewhere. He's got a long way to go and a relatively short time to get there. Zane Smith, though, keeping Kyle Larson in his rear view mirror back there for that spot. But Larson, again, is desperate.
Here's Joey Logano, sharp angled approach to turn 11, tried to get inside of Tyler Reddick, he couldn't. Meanwhile, live playoff standings, guys, Larson plus 10 right now in those live standings. And Denny Hamlin right now is below the playoff cut line. Here's Logano to the inside of Tyler Reddick. They nearly touch in turn 1.
So, figured it was worth coming and get filled up here and see what happens. You know, one caution would connect it for us.
So, according to Paul Wolf, Steve, he said one caution would get him there, and that would have been their last stop of the day. Here's my question, Steve. If they don't have that win in the bank, is that a move Paul Wolf makes?
Well, I mean, the whole race...
Kyle Larson weaving everywhere, Seth, on the way to the bus stop. Goodness.
Yeah, he's, you think he's getting a little antsy? Zane Smith trying to put pressure on Joey Logano further back. Larson again at a bumper of Zane Smith, but again, fifth days around. Meanwhile, at the front, Van Gisbergen has caught Chastain. Top 6, by the way, all non-playoff drivers.
That's why we haven't been watching it. Here come the leaders out of turn 11, and here's Van Gisbergen. He got a really good run on the exit of 11, comes down the main straightaway, and he's going to aggressively veer to driver's right, under braking, get alongside Chastain in turn 1. Chastain beats him back to the throttle, goes wide on the exit of 1. Chastain holds the lead, Josh, in turn 2.
But Shane Van Gisbergen is not going to let that slide as he is right on the bumper, sliding all over the place. Is SVG in the slipstream. Battle for third as well between McDowell and Buescher. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen down towards the bus stop. Not close enough.
Chastain keeps him at bay for the present time. Chastain continues to show the way. Chastain lead this parade through the carousel. Ross Chastain now heads on, but now he goes wide. Van Gisbergen goes the other way. Chastain makes it wide and keeps Van Gisbergen behind him as they go to turns 10 and 11. Van Gisbergen getting very, very close. Michael McDowell isn't too far back either. Ross Chastain leads out of 11.
It's been 35 laps since these top two have come to pit road, Chastain and Van Gisbergen. We thought they would pit under the stage 2 caution, but they didn't. They stayed out, so that's a different strategy that those two are on, but they've been the lead two for the majority of this race, but Michael McDowell is closing in, Josh. Yep, Michael McDowell is most definitely closing in, Matthew. Thank you. Chris Buescher is in line 4th. Corey LaJoie is 5th. And as they head down the back straightaway, Matthew, will turn it over to Seth in the bus stop.
All right, so it's Chastain leading in the bus stop. Cheers, Matthew, as Chastain continues to show the way. Van Gisbergen running in second. This is Seth here. We're going the name thing, so I just want to play. I didn't want to feel left out. Van Gisbergen now right behind Ross Chastain. Again, Chastain keeping him just far enough behind as they work through turns 10 and 11. We hear that Josh is improving, is alive as he goes through turns 10 and 11. Van Gisbergen's right there. Almost put the bumper to him.
Well, these two will have to pit here soon. To the point I just made, they've been out on these tires and this fuel run for quite some time. The question is, when will they pit? Ross Chastain has led 50 of the race's 55 laps, and for the majority of those laps, Shane Van Gisbergen has been right behind him second. Meanwhile, on the apex of turn 1, Martin Truex Jr. to the inside of Chase Briscoe as there's movement at the front. Josh, a change at third.
I may be here, I may not be here. As down the back stretch we go. We were definitely being nice to Sergio Perez, not saying how better Pato Ward was, and of a name that we hadn't heard before. Down towards the bus stop we go, Seth.
Thanks, Michael Waltrip, for trying to get to a point, but I don't understand what the deal was. Ross Chastain leads over Shane Van Gisbergen and Chris Buescher. Buescher maybe trying to make a move too. McDowell fourth. Then you got those two Spire cars of LaJoie and Hocevar. Here's Van Gisbergen. Close to Chastain to the bumper. He goes wide, has to tuck back in line. They're both coming to pit road now, I think. No, they're not. I thought they were coming to pit road.
But watch for Chris Buescher. He's got fresher tires in the top two. He just made that pass on McDowell earlier in the lap. Now he drives to the inside of Van Gisbergen on the approach to turn one. And on fresher tires, Chris Buescher moves up to second, passing Van Gisbergen. And now Josh, he starts to put the pressure on Ross Chastain.
Here we go. Buescher making the move, and he is putting the pressure down on Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain slow, going in towards the backstretch. Buescher looks to pull around the outside. He pulls to the outside. He cannot get alongside. He pulls single file down towards Youssef.
It's Chastain with the lead through the bus stop. Buescher stays right behind. It's the Busch Light number one of Ross Chastain that continues to show the way through the carousel. Oh, Buescher almost got him a little loose right there. It is Chastain with the lead. Buescher tucks back in line. Chastain continuing to keep him at bay as they go through turns 10 and 11. Ross Chastain still leading. Chris Buescher, though, working him over. Buescher making a move in 11.
He's going to have a really good run off the outside of 11 here on the fresh tires, Buescher, and he stamped with a stamp of authority makes the pass on Chastain. Look very easy. Chastain and Van Gisbergen struggling here on older tires. They're just waiting to get to a fuel window and a tire window to get to pit road, and Van Gisbergen nearly lost him in the exit of one. Josh, and Michael McDowell takes advantage.
Michael McDowell does indeed take advantage, gets through on SVG for third place. McDowell makes the move. Out front, it's Buescher. And then a couple of car lengths behind Chastain and McDowell. SVG fighting back. Here comes LaJoie. That was close towards the bus stop.
Watch out, SVG. You got Corey LaJoie behind you.
Yeah. Not going to sing again, but you know what he is. Carson Hocevar right behind LaJoie as well. And Chris Buescher now, Buescher's starting to gap. Denny Hamlin is on pit road. Good battle for second on back, but Chris Buescher is trying to be gone.
Yeah, Buescher on
this. They go through turns 10 and 11. Van Gisbergen and LaJoie and Hocevar right there. LaJoie goes wide and can't make the move.
Oh, and here comes Chastain and Van Gisbergen. They'll finally make this pit stop on these tires that are about 40 laps old. Finally, they get to a spot in the race with 32 laps to go where Chastain and Van Gisbergen, who's been the class of the field to this point, can come in.
All the 11 on pit road. He had a left rear tire coming apart from tire rub on the bodywork, Kim.
And both Ross Chastain making a stop as well. Ross saying he's still tight in the right and left-handers, could use more forward drive. The rear, though, he said, is hanging on pretty good. It's going to be 4 fresh Goodyear tires. They will wait on fuel. As you see, Chase Briscoe on the bottom just said, I need a little bit more lateral on exit. Overall, though, the car very good. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel for Chase Briscoe.
Now everyone in the field from this point can make it on fuel. So when you come to pit road, really determine, how many guys have pitted. So if the caution comes out, you would lose track position to them. How important do you think Goodyear tires are? Right now, if you pit, you're going to have to run about 31 laps on this final set if you don't want to come back to pit road. So I don't think we're going to see as many pit on the same lap as we normally do. I think they're going to trickle in 5 or 6, 7 at a time over the next maybe 5 or 8 laps.
Well, especially now with knowing, as Chris Buescher dives, knowing all well and good how far Chastain and Van Gisbergen could go. And then they saw that definite drop-off. Parker?
All right, as we see Chris Buescher hit pit lane here, this is maybe a reaction to seeing the 1 and the 16 come down pit road as they're going to be ripping fast lap times on those newer tires. The 34 team actually came on the radio and said, we expect those guys to be slower at the end of the run. So this is the idea of putting these newer tires on now and having the faster lap times against the older tires out there.
So Buescher gives up the lead to make that stop, and now Michael McDowell jumps to the front of the field, followed by a couple of Spire Chevrolets and Carson Hocevar and Corey LaJoie. Noah Gregson is fourth, Martin Truex Jr. fifth, sixth to Chase Elliott, seventh to Josh Berry. Juan Pablo Montoya owns eighth, Austin Cindric rides ninth, Christopher Bell is 10th. The leaders through the carousel of turn 9 and coming at Seth in turn 10.
Yep. Through turn 10 they go. As Carson Hocevar, you need to try having what a great run he's having this year. What a great year he's having. Michael McDowell, though, leads with 31 laps to go, 30 to go at the line, and the man from Arizona leads in New York. And Hocevar's in.
Yep, here's Hocevar making what he hopes to be his final stop.
They're going to try to counter the pit stops of the 1 and the 16.
Yeah, coming down pit road, it's been a nice day for Carson Hocevar so far. And Steve, a lot of crew chiefs are thinking about they would love to pit in this range as well, but they're really worried about the tires, not so much speed-wise, but wear-wise. So a lot of crew chiefs running a little bit longer here and leaving their driver out, Kim.
And the 24 William Byron in. Remember that last stop, they made big changes, changed the rear bar. This run way better for William Byron. Right now, the plan just to pit for 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, they will go on the jack.
So Byron, who's been struggling with his car all day long, perhaps the final chance for the 24 team to make changes to the chassis of that car. Here comes a wad of traffic in the bus stop, Seth. Logano, Bell, Larson, they're all there on top of each other.
Boy, this is getting really, really tight. Zane Smith on the outside, and Bell, Larson, Dillon, and Keselowski all under a blanket. Bell trying to go inside of Zane Smith. Larson now trying to go inside of his dirt buddy Bell. Side by side, Larson and Bell down the back straightaway with Austin Dillon in tow, and Larson's going to be in front contact. Austin Dillon and Christopher Bell make contact. Dillon now puts the bumper to Bell.
This
he
isn't
still
over.
Puts the bumper to Bell. Austin, be careful.
It's not over yet, and now he turns him in turn 11. Austin Dillon turns Christopher Bell in the middle of turn 11. Those two were jousting for a couple of corners and a straightaway. Now Bell very smartly gets it pointed back and comes to pit road.
Well, what an eventful day for Christopher Bell. Diff, you mentioned that wreck early on in the race, and they really haven't been that good of a car today either. Normally so solid at the road courses. Going to try to get the best finish that they can, Parker.
Saw Ty Gibbs going away from there. They chose to hit pit road here. Remember, got 4th place stage points in stage 2, and feel like this is the strategy that puts them in the best finishing position.
So, Seth, you want to tell us what happened with Austin Dillon?
NBC, I'm sure, will hear in just a minute.
I mean, what was he doing?
I don't know. I said be careful. I mean, you know, you're already under the microscope after the Richmond fiasco.
He just...
he dumped him.
He turned into him and throttled up in the middle of the corner. Oh, my gosh. Got some cars coming to pit road this lap. I saw Noah Gregson. I've seen Eric Jones. Here's Chase Elliott in a flash of blue coming to pit road, and here's Gregson to test out a new mattress.
Day, really no major complaints. Just could use a little bit more lateral grip, a little snug in the middle, but this car very good on the long run right now. We're going to take fresh tires and Sunoco fuel. No major adjustments for Noah Gregson.
Chase Elliott in as well.
So Elliott making his stop. All of these drivers hoping that this will be the final pit stops of the day with 28 laps to go. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for Elliott. Packet full of fuel. Remember all the overtimes we had yesterday in the Xfinity Series race that brought fuel into a concern for so many. Elliott does exit ahead of Gregson. Leader remains Michael McDowell. Seth, go ahead. You and Josh for a moment.
All right, Seth Eves here with you and Josh at the Watkins Glen International Raceway, the road course in New York State. And to put it mildly, it's been a wild day, Josh, for our playoff drivers. Just a good many of them have found trouble from the word go.
Yeah, absolutely. This circuit, always some drama involved in it, and that drama has involved the playoff drivers. Truex Jr. down in towards pit road. and Alex Bowman as well.
So Alex Bowman comes in, 48 car, that purple Ally Chevrolet. He'll come down and get service on his car. Four tires stop for the 48 of Alex Bowman, and he is down and away. So down and away. Michael McDowell, your current leader of the race. And here's another look at what happened a minute ago with Austin Dillon and Christopher Bell. Like Bell was trying to block maybe. Dillon took exception to that, and, well, Dillon turned him. And again, Austin Dillon.
Doing Austin Dillon things.
And, well, yeah, there you go. Nothing more needs to be said than that.
Who had told him to do that this time?
Oh, man. Good one. Good one.
That was evil, I know.
It was accurate, but it's funny.
Wow.
It's funny. But it's Michael McDowell who leads here with 26 laps to go. As he goes into the carousel. Through the carousel, it is McDowell who leads. Gets off the road just a little bit, heads down that back straightaway, and that can only be described as that fusion of colors. 34. There's like green, some purple. There's some lime in there. There's some yellow. The Love's branding there on the side. I mean, that is just a very, very interesting looking car Michael McDowell has on him here today. So it is McDowell, LaJoy, Cindric, Logano, Zane Smith, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Harrison Burton. That's the top 10. Somebody locked up at turn 11. And one car coming to pit road, that's Tyler Reddick. So Tyler Reddick comes to pit road in that 45 car, Josh.
Bubba Wallace getting pushed out wide into the wall on the final corner as well. Here's Reddick into his pit stall. And that is 4 tyres and fuel as scheduled with 25 to go in this final stage. And we are halfway in this final stage. Reddick released and down towards pit road. We are on board with the Build Submarines car in towards the bus stop.
Yep. Michael McDowell, still the leader of the race. And now here he comes, the race leader. Race leader Michael McDowell comes down pit road, the Benabone Chevrolet, into the pits. So, Michael McDowell. Left side's done. Now they get over to the right side. And down and away, which now gives the lead to Corey LaJoy. Josh, your way.
Yep, LaJoy, of course. Still waiting to pit. Multiple cars still waiting to pit. Here we go. A move on Harrison Burton being done. And this will be close. On board with Buescher going in towards the bus stop chicane for the next time. 24 to go in the final stage.
And all about the strategy at this point. But it is still Corey LaJoy who leads this race. 24 circuits remaining here at Watkins Glen International Raceway, New York. And the Go Bowling at the Glen is now starting to get into its closing stages. Austin Cindric is in the orange and blue Auto Trader car. So the big orange car of Cindric is in. And he's down and away. As the laps continue to wind down. 23 to go. Corey LaJoie continuing to show the way. Joy leading with Joey Logano second, some 10 seconds back. Of course, Logano, they could play around with a strategy a little bit, Josh, as we just mentioned, because of the win last week in Atlanta.
Here comes LaJoie, race leader, in towards pit road.
There you go.
An iconic moment in the IndyCar broadcast. The last ever NBC ad break has just happened.
Oh, God. Only you guys could say it so eloquently like that. Lord have mercy on my soul. They're going uphill, Josh. Take it away.
Looking at Carson Hocevar in front, which must mean we have a move going on here around the outside on board with Shane Van Gisbergen. Around the outside, this is SVG doing what he does best, side by side, down towards Youssef, down at the bus stop.
He didn't quite make the move. Zane Smith now will get around the Austin Dillon machine. Oh, boy, Shane, watch out, Austin Dillon. Oh, boy, if you put the bumper to Austin Dillon, it's going to be really bad. Here he comes. Van Gisbergen, roughing and rambling. Getting by Austin Dillon. Bold move by the 97 there. Or the 97, the 16.
He waved to Dillon as well when he went past.
Yeah. I'm sure he did. So Van Gisbergen back in front of Chastain. Austin Dillon and Harrison Burton battling, along with Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace. Low. Burton a bit off the track. Dillon almost in the grass, 3 wide. I think he's trying to slow down and get to the pits. Bubba Wallace will go there as well.
Making a move down in towards turn 1. That looked like McDowell.
Yeah.
That would have been on Busch, I do believe.
Yep. Still on board with this is the Buescher car, I do believe.
Yes, this is Buescher.
So Buescher goes through the bus stop, and again, he weebles and wobbles. Joey Logano is now your race leader with 21 laps to go.
Look at Zane Smith in second.
Zane Smith second, Kyle Larson third, fourth is Brad Keselowski, fifth is Daniel Suarez, then it's Chris Buescher sixth. Well, now it changed again because Kyle Larson is going to pit road.
Stops on his marks, and we'll get 4 tyres and fuel ready for the end of this Go Bowling at the Glen. The wheel gun getting stuck on the rear fins of the car on the underside.
Kyle Larson down and away. And now Zane Smith has reeled in Joey Logano in the carousel. So Joey Logano in the carousel. Now we got further back. Action further back is that's Van Gisbergen trying to make it ground. He just got around Hocevar. Shane Van Gisbergen, could he still prove to be a factor in this race? Joey Logano still leads.
Zane Smith still trying to catch up to the back, but Zane Smith, I do believe, has come down in towards pit road as well as Suarez. Larson also dropping down once again.
So Daniel Suarez brings the 99 car down pit road. Meanwhile, Buescher and Keselowski, Buescher blowing by Keselowski, who I believe has just exited the pits. That's why they came up on him and he was going so slow, Keselowski. 19 laps to go. And the lead belongs to Joey Logano. For now, we'll wait and see what strategy looks like. Meanwhile, well, I don't know why they went further back there.
That was
so Logano,
Henrik, I believe, involved in that one.
Logano, Keselowski, Buescher, Van Gisbergen, Hocevar, Smith, Chastain, McDowell, Suarez, Preece is your top 10. As they hit down the main straightaway, well, those cars are almost kissing that inside wall there on the exit of 11. Joey Logano leads Josh, following him up the hill.
Down he goes towards the backstretch, and onto the backstretch he goes once more. 2 seconds was the gap at the line, and he will head down towards the backstretch as we have Martin Truex Jr. coming through the hill once more.
So it is Joey Logano who continues to show the way here. 18 laps to go. His lead is at 2 seconds over Buescher. Van Gisbergen, though, is really closing. And, well, Buescher's not 2 seconds. Buescher's right there. Wow, how do you make that up? Buescher's there for the lead off turn 11. He gets Logano loose. Back to the main straightaway. Chris Buescher to the inside of Joey Logano. Downhill to turn 1. Does he have the lead? You bet he does. New leader at Watkins Glen. It's Chris Buescher. Can he clear Logano? Yes, he does, Josh.
By multiple car lengths as well in one corner. That's what happens when you go wide at turn 1. Gets the extra speed. Track limits? What track limits? This is NASCAR. Down towards the bus stop chicane we go. Buescher, new leader by multiple car lengths.
Here is Chris Buescher. So Chris Buescher leads. Oh, got trouble. In turn 11, Kaz Grala's car has stalled. Oh, my goodness. If he doesn't get this refired, it's going to be a caution. He does get it refired, though.
And that is going to be Busch, it looked like, coming round. That was at the final corner. Grala in towards pit road, but Busch very nearly collected.
That was scary for a lot of people. And let's watch and see what happened again. What happened? Oh, I think he might have gotten a little help from Daniel Hemrick.
Just taps the barrier.
And then here's the move again, Josh. Buescher on Logano for the lead.
Buescher just last of the late breakers on the inside. And, well, what a beautiful replay we see there. As, well, Buescher literally just braked later and opened the corner more, got more wide on the exit, was able to carry more speed through. Up the hill we go, through the bus stop chicane, on board with the WeatherTech car of Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yep, he's at 35 seconds behind Chris Buescher. Buescher with the race lead by nearly 2 seconds over Logano. Is Chris Buescher. And, boy, Ross Chastain going way off the course to stay in front of Carson Hocevar on the main straightaway. Zane Smith, what a day it's been for him today. That's not Zane Smith, you idiot. That's Brad Keselowski. The blue and orange cars got me confused. Battle at fifth with Chastain and Hocevar. Chastain gets off the road a little bit. What's going to happen, Josh?
3 wide, exit of turn 1. They single file up the hill. Chastain right on the back of Hocevar. Will he be able to make a move? They can't enter the back stretch now. And it is Keselowski ahead of Hocevar, ahead of Chastain, ahead of McDowell in towards the bus stop chicane.
Matt McCall looking on for Brad Keselowski as he works through the carousel. So through the carousel he goes. Meanwhile, Van Gisbergen's past Logano. Van Gisbergen has blown by Logano. Oh, my goodness me.
Could this be an SVG miracle?
It might be. It might be. He comes down the main straightaway. Matthew, you're back. And boy, you've joined us at a really, really interesting time.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen on the charge here to try to break Chris Buescher's heart. He's had that happen to him a lot this year, I'm afraid, through Darlington and Kansas and Sonoma, as Michael McDowell and Ross Chastain thread their way through Brad Keselowski going up through the S's. So as you two guys have covered, SVG is on the move, and he might get to Buescher fairly quickly. It's 5 seconds the gap. He's got 14 laps to go. Now they are on pretty similar tire and fuel strategies, basically the same. Buescher pitted 1 lap later than Van Gisbergen. So Van Gisbergen, who was able to get by Logano on 10-lap fresher tires, now trying to chase down someone in Buescher that's on the same strategy as him. It's very well done by the World Feed to get this up. Live playoff standings. Larson plus 14. Keselowski plus 11. Gibbs plus 1. Briscoe minus 1. Burton minus 23. And Seth, Truex, and Hamlin both below the cut line. Can you believe that?
-4 for Truex. -15 for Hamlin.
And Austin Cindric, doing exactly what he needed to do today, came in plus 27 after his terrific run at Atlanta, which included a stage win. He just needed a clean day. He needed just neutral kind of day to keep that gap at where it was, and he's actually extended it just a bit from 27 to 31 above the cut line. Austin Cindric in real shape to advance to the round of 12. Of course, Bristol and 500 laps there to come next Saturday night. But goodness gracious, if you would have told Austin Cindric he'd be heading to Bristol with anything close to a 30-point edge on the cut line, he would have said, he would have asked where I sign. He would have signed, I think, in blood if you would have offered him that before the playoffs started. He's running 16th as we speak. So 12 laps to go. What an intriguing race this has been. It's been a race that has it's not been your run-of-the-mill race, has it, Seth? Just very different and unique names have been at the front for just about the whole thing. We know about Van Gisbergen and Buescher, but Hocevar and McDowell and LaJoie and Preece found themselves towards the front for much of this day through all the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, a reminder, and Seth said it a little bit earlier on what was a very quick hot lap. NASCAR heads to Bristol this coming up weekend. A reminder that the Cup Series race is the round of 16 elimination race. We'll have it for you on USRN and JBM. That's next Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The Truck Series are there to continue their playoffs. And that is on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And just a reminder, the Xfinity Series race at Bristol next Friday night, that is their regular season finale. And a reminder, that will be on the CW, on TV on the CW, where the rest of the Xfinity Series races will be this year and where it heads all of next year. We've got a car in trouble in the middle of the bus stop, Seth.
Harrison Burton, and he's got a flat right rear tire. A flat destroyed right rear. Joey Logano has come to pit road. Harrison Burton is smoking. He's going to try and make it back to pit road. We're still green. We're still racing at Watkins Glen, but Harrison Burton's left rear tire might not make it back to the pits. He's going to try. Goodness gracious, that's going to leave a lot of debris. It's only making it worse. The black and blue Ford is about to be black and blue. Oh, that tire carcass is absolutely destroyed. Is he going to be able to get it back to the pits? Is he going to be able to get it back to the pits?
And are we going to stay green? Here's the leader, Buescher. No, there's the caution. Oh, my goodness. And now that the caution has come out, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski, as Seth reported, had just come to pit road. The crew chiefs on the box saw what was going on with the 21, called their drivers to pit road, and that is massive for Logano and Keselowski. Caution comes out with 10 laps to go, and Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano are suddenly in a very good position. Meanwhile, it's a killer for Harrison Burton's playoff hopes. We do have to almost remind ourselves and everyone else he is a playoff driver. His chances of advancing were, of course, very slim to begin with. His best shot was really Atlanta last week, and he will be going into Bristol in a big deficit to the cut line. Oh my goodness, what a time for the caution, and just as the leaders come to get the yellow, 10 fingers pointed out by the flagman to signal that there are just 10 laps remaining. And now, Josh, all of these leaders have put at least 15 laps on tires. Some of them have put 20 plus. Josh, you got to pit now, right?
Yeah, and that was just a Burton just absolutely exploding. His tire just completely blew going in towards the bus stop chicane. Reason of caution was for debris from that, and that main part that was wrapped around that just came off going down towards the last couple of corners. No idea if I answered your question because I had millions of voices in my ears, so apologies for that.
Are you sure it's millions of voices, or is it just JB speaking a million words?
It's JB speaking a million words.
I think that's what it is. and doing it at a million miles an hour.
There's a certain person called Lambros in there as well.
Oh.
Like I said, and Josh is also speaking a million words at a million miles an hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
because they've just crowned a champion.
Pit road should just be open right here. See who comes in, who doesn't. We know Logano and Keselowski do not have to pit. They just did before the caution. Well timed for those two drivers. But you have to imagine that we'll see a lot on pit road. At least that would be your thought. But, as I say that, Buescher's not pitting. Van Gisbergen's not. McDowell's not. Chastain, Briscoe, they're not. The first to come in is going to be Byron, and followed by Elliott, and then Jones. Nemechek is there too. That's not nearly as many people on pit road as I thought it would be, with everyone quite a bit of laps on their tires.
Good option for him, so why not come on, put fresh Goodyear tires on those cars. Chase Elliott reporting just a little bit snug. William Byron as he gets 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, as does his teammate. Also in both of their teammates, Alex Bowman. Alex, overall just tight both in the left and right-handers. Again, another call where did not feel like they could win from about 20th position, so fresh rubber on and see what you can do with it.
Big if true that you can't win from 20th position.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho. Oh, dear. Well, what a dramatic time for that yellow. And, again, very surprised we didn't see more on pit road than we did. But it's going to set up a restart with Chris Buescher and Shane Van Gisbergen door-to-door.
I think we need to go to the update desk.
And those are two desperate drivers, by the way. Buescher, who's been heartbroken so many times this season, and SVG, who's, of course, only here to win. So that's going to be a heck of a race.
I think it's SVG's to lose, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'll see
And he's the best road course racer at the front of the pack, and like I said, he'll use that chrome horn. So I think it's looking good for the Aussie right now.
See how
For
much
the Kiwi, I'm sorry.
See how much Chris Buescher wants that first win, because it's been so close so many times this year. What you got, Seth?
Well, the IndyCar race just concluded at Nashville. Colton Herta won the race. And for the third time in 4 years, Alex Palou is the IndyCar Series champion.
Now,
What?
Okay. Can we talk about that guy? Can we talk about that? He's a 3-time IndyCar champion at the age of 27. Wow.
That's pretty wild. Elsewhere, 3 late games in the NFL going on right now. Boy, maybe Vegas knows what they're talking about. The Cardinals are just hammering the Rams right now. It is 24-3. Kyler Murray is 10 of 12 for 191 and 3 touchdowns. 2 of them went to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Now, does that mean that he's pretty good?
You know, you talking about Harrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he kind of is.
Yeah, you might want to get him the ball. It's just a thought.
Ohio State wide receiver U. Only that won championships for them. But anyway, Steelers lead the Broncos 7-0 on a short touchdown pass. They're late in the second at Mile High. And a shootout between 2 of the best gunslingers in the United States. It's the Bengals and the Chiefs tied at 10 with 5:20 to go in the half. Burrow has a touchdown pass. So does Mahomes. And the Bengals are driving again. This one's living up to the hype, needless to say.
Well, we'll see if Cincinnati can hold it down. I don't have. I'm not very positive about that.
I'm not either, but my fantasy team could use a great effort from the Chiefs defense because I'm about to lose to Pierre of all people.
Well,
Pierre started a quarterback that's not even a starter, and he's probably going to beat me because he got 12 from Richardson, 13 from Charbonnet, 19 from Neighbors, 19 from Godwin, and 17 from Adams.
Godwin.
Meanwhile, your boy left Bowers on the bench, and he got 10, and left Henry on the bench and got 11 because the Ravens forgot how to use Mark Andrews. His ass is getting benched next week. I don't care what the projected point total is. He will not play. Mark Andrews will not play next week. Will not. I did get 22 from Baker. That's what's keeping me alive. Plus 14 from Singletary and 13 from Big Guy. Mike Evans had a bad day by his standards. Only 4 points from him. He's my most consistent guy. What the hell's going on here? By the way, I play you next week, so I actually just let you in. I probably shouldn't have told you I'm bitching. See, Seth, I'm about to sound like Daryl at Michigan, and I want to see. I should have looked at the opponent before I did that. Before I said the bitching plan.
Golly day.
Should have waited and made his move on the last one.
We're about to go green.
You know, to quote a late basketball analyst, I'm often wrong, but never in doubt.
That's for sure.
That's I think I'm gonna steal that mantra. That's my new one. Steal from the GOAT, Billy Packer.
Yeah, more like D-goat. I said the letter D. All right.
Often wrong, never in doubt.
Coming to the restart with 7 laps to go, Seth. And Van Gisbergen chose not to go to the inside of Buescher. He went behind Buescher, which leaves Carson Hocevar on the front row.
Now, wouldn't that be a story if he could get one here? 7 laps to go. Hang on to the edge of your seats, folks. This one's going to get wackier than Travis Kelce's girlfriend's love life.
As we come to the green, Martin Truex Jr. is +1 in the live standings. Ty Gibbs and Brad Keselowski are each -1. Hamlin -13. What's going to happen here on perhaps the final restart? Buescher on the inside. Hocevar is outside. Green flag goes up in the air at Watkins Glen with 7 laps to go. Van Gisbergen didn't get going all that well. Buescher and Hocevar stride for stride in turn 1. Buescher drifts up, goes wide, but he's got the high ground on Hocevar for the lead in turn 2.
4 wide going in towards the turn 2 up the hill. Incredible. How did they not wreck? And here we go. Down the backstretch we go. Side by side. Single file at the front. Caution. Is that a car on top of another car? Yes, it is.
Oh, that's Keselowski. And someone.
2 playoff drivers.
William Byron. Oh, my goodness.
How in the world did that happen?
The caution comes out. William Byron's car is wedged on top of the left side of Keselowski's car. Keselowski trying to reverse, and he does. And that comes, takes Byron's car anchoring down back to earth. Byron's car is destroyed on the left side, and Keselowski's doesn't look much better. They drive away from the accident scene, and Keselowski, who at the time of the Harrison Burton caution, you'd probably think was in good position because he had just pitted. It didn't go his way or Logano's, and they got swept up in this madness. And Josh, walk us through what in the wide world happened.
So Keselowski was side by side with Logano, and it's going to be another 3 wide moment, and Logano was involved, and that was a big hit for William Byron in towards the barrier. That got him up, and his front just landed on the top of Keselowski. Now the question is, guys, as we have another look at the angle, and that was a massive hit. The question is, though, 6 to go, we're under caution. Overtime?
Oh my gosh, what a incredible couple of camera shots NBC just got. Byron, the right front tire of Byron's car ended up in the back left window of Keselowski's car. Thank goodness it didn't go into the driver's side window and through the window net. Oh my gosh. Well, we've had a lot of grinding crashes in the past here. That's a heck of an accident. And by the way, to your question, Josh, might have to go to overtime because I don't know what the status on the tire barrier is, or the guardrail is over there.
Yeah.
Byron, I don't think Byron's going to be able to get to pit road because he cannot turn that car to the right. It's not turning to the right.
Yeah, this is a cat and mouse game between Byron and the AMR safety team.
Yeah, he's just going to have to come to a stop. Joey Logano radio after all of that.
4 lanes high. They don't clean the freaking track. They got to clean the track. You get in that stuff, then you can't turn. And then you get back to where you got to turn left, and it still doesn't turn.
So Joey we talked all day about these Goodyear tires and the marbles they create, which that's what they look like right here. They're
just find it interesting, these drivers complaining about the marbles because Seth, as we know, marbles being on the racetrack used to be just commonplace. It's not anymore with how good the Goodyear tires have become, but it used to be common. So just hearing people complain about it is just quite funny to me because Joey's been in the sport for a long time, but he came in at a time where this was not the norm. what a vicious impact that was with that guardrail, and Keselowski's car just propelling Byron's. And this is the camera shot to end all camera shots. That's a sports Emmy right there. Gosh.
And that, I believe, well, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I'm going to say that's 2 cars done for the day.
Yeah, Byron's
true.
car can't turn. He can't turn his car. Now, Keselowski's still around running under caution. He can probably still go. But, yeah, Byron's absolutely done, and we'll have to see what that means for him in the playoff standings.
I'm sorry, what? Keselowski didn't pit?
He did not.
Look at the back of the car.
Yeah, it's. Well, look at every corner of the car.
Look at the whole left of the car.
Yeah, it's gone through a shredder.
Now that is me on a simulator game.
So again, don't know how much that guardrail needs to be tended
Here's
to.
a look at the restart.
Yeah, I'm very shocked, Seth, that Van Gisbergen didn't go to row 1 on the choose.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that either. I guess he was thinking there was going to be contact, and they were going to crash in front of him and open up a lane. I don't know that at all.
Meanwhile, they're 5 wide out of the corner as everyone skitters everywhere. Yeah, I mean, we saw a 3 wide crash up that hill earlier. You can't stack it 4 wide up there. Golly day. It's impossible. Well, remember the frantic finish we had here yesterday in the Xfinity Series competition?
That's a word for it.
That became a mess at the end, and a really dangerous crash on the final lap on that back straightaway. This is a very narrow racetrack. There's very few areas of this track that's not narrow, especially going up the hill through the S's into that back chute. Get a car turned around, and you're going to collect a bunch of them, and they certainly did on that last lap yesterday. In a race won by Connor Zilic, an 18-year-old.
He's kind of good, isn't he?
Man, oh man. All right, so off of that restart and accident, live playoff standings show that Byron is plus 32. Larson has rebounded here to plus 30. But still Denny Hamlin below the cut line. And, of course, next week we go to Bristol for 500 laps under the lights in a race that, oh gosh, absolute madness there in the spring.
Bristol almost always has madness. Even a boring race at Bristol has something to it.
Yeah, we couldn't believe what we were watching this spring. That was just... I don't know if anyone knew what they were watching earlier this year. Probably the race of the year, certainly one of them, was that spring race at Bristol. And we'll see what the tire situation is heading there next weekend, because that's what created all the chaos in the spring, was the wearing of the tires. A lot of the same conversation we've had today at Watkins Glen. USRN and JBM next Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Y'all ready for a late night over there, Josh?
Don't get me started. I've got school in the morning of that. Guys, look at the lap count.
You have school on a Sunday?
Monday for us.
Monday morning. Bristol race is Saturday night.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm fine then. Wait, no, that's the really annoying one, because basically, you do, because I always talk to you about it, because I tell everyone. I go to stock car racing tracks. In fact, I was at one today before joining this broadcast, and it's Champions weekend. The V8 Hot Stocks, sorry, V8 is it V8 Hot Stocks, V8 Stock Cars World Championship, and the PRI National Banger Championship of the World. Basically, bangers, MOT failures made into cars, and they wreck them, and they make big crashes, and it's very fun. So one of them is on Saturday. I'm going to come back from that. I'm going to have to edit that, and then I'm going to have to join the Bristol broadcast. Then I'm going to have to go to sleep, get up early for the Sunday, go back to the track, which, by the way, it's a 3-hour round trip to get there, and then come home, edit again, then go to sleep. Ready for Monday. Yay.
Well, you know, you gotta educate the two Joshes on this and have Josh go Jerry Punch to start. JBM, the world leader of motorsports, presents the night race today live from Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway. It's the NASCAR Cup Series night race at Bristol.
We're lined up and we're not going for overtime.
No, we're going to have a restart with 3 to go. Bristol next week.
Oh, boy.
Can't wait for it.
Josh. We appreciate you, but like everybody else that's with us, we question your sanity while you hang out with us on Sundays.
That's exactly right. Chris Buescher on the front row again with Carson Hocevar. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen, if his plan on restarting in row 2 is to try to stack it 3 wide, he needs to get off the line better than he did last time. Let's see how Buescher, the control car, wants to control this restart. Pace car is off. Buescher approaching the restart zone. Van Gisbergen gives him a shot in the shorts. Green flag in the air. Buescher gets away well. Again, Van Gisbergen slow off the line. It's Hocevar with a nose in front. Buescher drives it hard into turn 1. He'll get the lead back from Hocevar as they climb the hill to turn 2.
Here we go, down the hill, and that's going to be into the wall. Will that be a caution? Spinner in the middle of the pack is Tyler Reddick sideways. Caution, we're going to overtime.
Gosh, what a mess.
Busch involved. Oh. Well done,
Kyle Busch also in it.
Oh, and that's another playoff driver in Tyler Reddick. Unreal. I mean, there was about 5 of them involved. We only got Reddick and Busch, but gosh, felt like there were 5 or 6 of them. Josh, how are you trying to fit 6 cars wide into that corner?
That's NASCAR for you. But Reddick, Busch were the main ones involved. Todd Gilliland, Chase Elliott, Josh Berry.
Oh,
make that
Truex.
Truex Jr., make that Justin Haley involved, make that Harrison Burton involved, like he's had a break today.
I mean, Reddick is so far to driver's left, and he just has nowhere to go. There was a time, and Seth, I know you'll remember this time.
I won't.
But there was a time, Seth, where people said, we don't even need to go up these S's side by side, 2 by 2. Now we're trying to go through 3, 4, and 5 wide. I think right there was they were trying to go 5.5 wide.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
NASCAR doing NASCAR things.
I mean, that was, holy cow, that reminded me a little bit of the that old Indianapolis road course restarts that we had. I mean, we just jammed them in there, 5, 6 wide, big old rugby scrum, see who comes out.
And it's also, I think, cars firing out 5, 6 wide even, exit of turn 1, and they've all got to try and squeeze into the tight S's section.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Turn 1 invites these guys to go wide, and then we got them 4 and 5 and 6 wide, but then all of a sudden there's the wall. Oh, and there's the turn, and this is pretty narrow. might need to get it down to at least 2 wide, and they don't. Because at this point of the race, no one's lifting.
I know the circuit that I'm about to compare it to is completely different, and it's way wider than this, but it's a little bit like the situation we have at Kota Turn 1.
Yeah, it is. Because you go so wide, and then not only are you going wide out of Turn 1, but they're on the throttle, right? When they get through that apex, they could be all the way out here. They could be in New Jersey just about, but they're on the throttle. I mean, and NASCAR did put in little divots or extra rumble strips. Yeah. All of this wide of the curving, they put in almost like the rumble strips you have on the side of a road on a highway that, chatter your tires and your teeth out. And they just put them all through those wide sections in Turn 1 and Turn 9 to try to stop all of that.
Also, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. I've just having a look at that aerial camera once more. They literally went bowling.
They did. Yeah, you're right.
That is literally what happened. I know it's called the Go Bowling at the Glen, but come on, guys.
Hey, oh God, but yeah, it's Matthew. Good shout out to the guy you called the GOAT, Bill Weber. There's the wall.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly.
There's the wall. There's 5 wide. There's contact.
and the other thing too is, and I know some of these crashes are being created by cars going everywhere in Turn 1, and there's going to be a group of people that scream and shout about track limits. Again, this is a very simple fix. If you do not want those cars on the left side of the curbing, put grass or dirt there. It's like that for ages. But if you are going to host a NASCAR race,
expect cars to abuse track limits.
Any part of the racetrack that is paved is going to get run on. I'm sorry.
Is it time for me to say the thing?
Sure.
Seth, every single broadcast, there's a time that you lose it. We have now reached that point.
No, I'm about to lose it.
Most broadcasts, there's a point where Matthew loses it. We have nearly reached that point. Maybe have another overtime finish after this. We may reach that point after that.
Well, of course, we've had a record amount of overtime finishes this season. We're going to another one here. We went to overtime.
We're nearing a record for most overtimes across all 3 national series in a season.
Yeah, and of course,
Cup alone as well, coming up.
Had overtime last week.
Somewhere I hear Ben Snyder screaming.
That's exactly right. Seth, what's going on in football land as they're coming to the choose? We'll get that in real quick.
Bengals just kicked the field goal to take a 13-10 lead over Kansas City. That one likely, that probably is getting close to the half. 24-3 Cardinals, and they're on the move again. And it's 16-10 Bengals leading. And Pittsburgh leads Denver 10-0 at halftime.
And if you missed
what about?
Yeah, go ahead.
The soccer world, where Tottenham lost again. What a surprise!
You don't have to goat Seth twice into talking about Tottenham losing.
Well, see, here's the thing. I can't do much of anything today because they were playing Arsenal.
True, but
I was wishing that both teams would lose, but
But then again, Liverpool yesterday.
We can talk about that. Yeah.
Gosh.
Anyway, coming to the first overtime attempt.
By the way, William Byron is still running somehow. I thought he was done. He's still on the track. 34th trying to get as many
He's,
points as possible.
Still got some education to finish, some homework.
So overtime we go at Watkins Glen, and this restart just the same as the last two, with Buescher on the inside of row 1, Hocevardo is outside, and Van Gisbergen in row 2. How aggressive will he be? Green flag up into the air, and Buescher does not get a good restart. And here comes Shane Van Gisbergen to his inside. He taps him. Buescher goes wide. He forces Hocevar wide. Shane Van Gisbergen looks for the lead up the hill in turn 2.
Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead. Chase Briscoe, the only playoff driver currently in the top 10, looks to make a move. He makes that move. A big gap between second and third. Down towards the bus stop chicane we go. On towards the backstretch. It's Van Gisbergen ahead of Buescher.
How physical can Buescher get if he gets to Van Gisbergen? Is he seeing another win slip away? He is in second. Those top two have pulled away from the rest of the pack. It's Van Gisbergen by a car length over Buescher as they head out of the carousel and onto the straightaway. Back straightaway. Buescher will do everything he can to reel him in. Chastain and Hocevar now side by side for third, but they go through turns 10 and 11. It's Shane Van Gisbergen trying to pull away. Bell lap at the Glen.
Well, he got too many chances to get the restart right, and he finally did. And Shane Van Gisbergen receives the white flag at Watkins Glen with Chris Buescher 1 car length back, about a dozen car lengths back to third. It's SVG versus the Heartbreak Kid Buescher on the year for the win at Watkins Glen. They're out of turn 1 for the final time.
SVG ahead of Buescher. Buescher is behind by 2 to 3 car lengths down on towards the backstretch for the final time. They are clear by a mile to Hocevar in third. Down in towards the bus stop chicane for the final time, Seth Eves.
Buescher got a mini slipstream on him, but wasn't close enough. Here he goes. Buescher's going to get to Van Gisbergen. He's going to get him. They make contact. Buescher back to the top spot. Van Gisbergen's got a bumper too, though. It's Buescher to the lead, trying to pull away. Shane Van Gisbergen will have one final chance. Chris Buescher keeps the lead, heading to turn 10. It's Buescher versus Van Gisbergen. One last shot at 11. Matthew Owens, bring him home,
Van Gisbergen nearly lost control of the car in turn 11, and Chris Buescher's home free. Buescher beats and bangs to his first win of the season. He wins at Watkins Glen to finally get win number 1 on the 2024 season. It's well-deserved for Buescher, and it's an amazing way to steal the win away from one of the best race car drivers on the planet. Chris Buescher got the elbows out and roughed Shane Van Gisbergen up, and Buescher wins at Watkins Glen. Oh my gracious! What a finish! And the black bowling ball of Buescher knocked down that white pin of Van Gisbergen. What a finish in Watkins Glen! And it was all clean. There was slight contact on the restart from Van Gisbergen to Buescher. Then there was contact from Buescher to Van Gisbergen on the last lap. No one wrecked anybody. What a hard-fought, clean race that was. And Chris Buescher wins it, Seth. And you have to feel good for the driver of the 17, who's been right there all season long to getting that first win.
He's been amazing. He's been good all year. Disappointing that he didn't make the playoffs despite having a really good regular season. Circumstances kept him from it. This is going to feel good. This is going to taste sweet for Chris Buescher and his fans because it's been a rough one, but he had to get the chrome worn out. That was the only way he was going to beat him. And Van Gisbergen got a little loose there, actually, in the bus stop, which allowed Buescher to get to him and then bump him out of the way and take the lead and eventually the win. What a drive, and Chris Buescher finally has a victory.
Well, I got some news for Shane Van Gisbergen. He's coming full-time racing to the Cup Series next year, and he's going to be the favorite to win just about all of these road course races. if you're going to win a road course race, if you're going to take a win away from Shane Van Gisbergen on a road course, you got to do exactly what Chris Buescher did. SVG played it all. He played it right the whole way. But Shane Van Gisbergen's going to learn, or maybe he's already learned, sometimes being first on the last lap is not where you want to be in NASCAR. Chris Buescher stuffed it into turn 9. Van Gisbergen tried to slam the door shut. He couldn't. Buescher muscled his way through, and finally a win in 2024 for the Texas driver, Chris Buescher.
Sure, it was worth the wait. Wow, Chris, walk me through the restart with SVG, and then were you sizing up a move, and were you surprised when he sort of made that bobble?
Oh man, I was it's such a good buildsummaries.com Ford Mustang. This team is so great. Long run speed was just phenomenal, and thought we lost it there in that last one, and just man, to stay right there with him. That was the spot that he was better than us, and he missed it. So I tried to cross over, and he went to cut, and just hard race it there, but just such an awesome finish. To be that good for so much at the end of the race, all race, to get a win, it's good. We came here to be spoiler. We're going to do that.
Does this eliminate some of the sting from not being in the playoffs, Chris?
Yeah, certainly. And we would have liked to have won a couple weeks ago, but this is huge. This is such a big win for us. Everybody at RFK's worked so hard, and to finally get a road course win, man. We've been so close so many times. To finally pull that off, it's fantastic.
What was that like behind the wheel when you saw him make that mistake? Did your eyes get wide and say, this is my shot?
I knew it was. I got in there deeper than I had been, and I think he was still going. So I had a good shot, or a good feeling that that it was probably going to bottom out. It's smoother, not smooth. So it was a big moment, big opportunity for us, and able to roll on by.
Parker, this team wanted to come in and play spoiler. They did it. Chris Buescher with his first ever road course win in the Cup Series.
And what an incredible battle, Marty, catching up here to Shane Van Gisbergen. You were leading there into the bus stop. What happened? What was that mistake?
Driver error, yeah. I knew Chris was really going to send it and push me if he could get there. And as I turned in, got a bit loose and clipped the inside wall and just driver error. I'm gutted. Weather Tech tomorrow was really good. The race was awesome with Ross and Chris and the others at the end. I'm gutted we couldn't get it, but I had a lot of fun, but I'm pretty angry at myself.
I see you smiling, though, through the anger there. You used the bumper down in turn 1. He used the bumper there into the carousel. Is that fair play there since you used it into 1?
I think so, yeah. It was just a little bump to get him wide, and I knew I was gonna get it back, so that's why I was pushing so hard, and it is what it is, but just gutted.
You can tell, guys, it was a crazy race, an awesome race, but he's still smiling there in finish second.
That's terrific words from both of those competitors. And Shane Van Gisbergen's going to win a lot of these things in NASCAR on these road courses. But Chris Buescher today was just not going to be denied. We've talked a lot this season about Buescher being so close to wins at Darlington in the spring and Kansas in the spring, where he quite literally lost the closest finish in the history of the sport. Sonoma, one of the other road courses. Remember how close he was to winning that. Kyle Larson ripped it away from him just as he did at Kansas in the final laps. Has to be so sweet for Buescher to finally get one, and to get one in the way he did to beat Shane Van Gisbergen on a road course. It's a heck of a triumph for Buescher. He snaps a 37-race winless drought. His last win was at Daytona in August of 2023, so just over a year ago. We've talked all year how a big theme of this NASCAR season has been snapping winless droughts. Seth, he's the 10th driver this season to snap a winless drought of at least 37 races.
Yeah. What a season it's been. What a race.
Incredible finish.
What a season.
And again, the cautions, the way they fell, it allowed Van Gisbergen 3 opportunities to get the restart right from row 2. He chose to restart. When he had the option, he chose to restart in row 2. That surprised us, but he had 3 chances to figure it out. He got it wrong on the first 2. He got it right on the third, and Buescher knew that he was going to have to muscle Van Gisbergen out of the way, and that is exactly what he did. Now, the unofficial look at the playoff standings following today's race. Joey Logano, of course, is advanced. Christopher Bell is plus 46. Austin Cindric is plus 43 in third, heading to Bristol. Alex Bowman at plus 41. Daniel Suarez at plus 36. Reddick and Elliott 30 above the cut line. Ryan Blaney at plus 29. Kyle Larson and William Byron 26 and 25 points above the cut line. And they're at the bubble. Chase Briscoe and Ty Gibbs at plus 6. Denny Hamlin at minus 6, Brad Keselowski minus 12, Martin Truex Jr. minus 14, and Harrison Burton minus 20. So as we go to Bristol next week, there's only 20 points separating 11th to 15th. Suarez, Bowman, Cindric, all in terrific position to advance if they can have a clean run at Bristol next Saturday night. Larson lower down than anyone would have expected. Hamlin and Truex both below the cut line. Keselowski is too. Briscoe and Gibbs just hanging on at plus 6. Remember how good Gibbs was at Bristol in the spring? He won 2 stages. Going to be a tremendous elimination race next Saturday night in Bristol. 2 former champions and then a terrific Hall of Fame driver in Denny Hamlin, all below the cut line in the first round, heading to Bristol. That's unbelievable. My gosh. What an unbelievable turn of events here in the opening 2 races of this playoff run here in Watkins Glen, and Chris Buescher, a non-playoff driver, scores the victory. A race that was dominated by non-playoff drivers like Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen and Chris Buescher. And it's Buescher who gets the victory here this afternoon in the first ever playoff race at Watkins Glen. Well, let's go around for final thoughts and driver of the day. Let's start up at the top of the hill, at the top of the S's. Josh, what's your final thoughts of a thrilling race at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, absolutely incredible race. And, well, we continue with this one. NBC signing off for IndyCar for the last time. And this is going to sound weird. I actually felt a little bit emotional the past 16 years. Ever since, well, I have grown up with IndyCar and NBC, and, well, for the past 16 years, because that's how long I've been alive. But going back to NASCAR, incredible race. I'm surprised we've only got 1 overtime finish. We always have chaos here at Watkins Glen. This time, it was for the playoff drivers, which changes it all going into the elimination race next weekend.
Yeah, it really does. What about driver of the day?
I am going to have to say Chris Buescher. He fought outside the box to get past Shane Van Gisbergen on the final lap. Also, shout out to Carson Hocevar in third.
Yeah, absolutely right. Seth, what about you?
Took the words out of my mouth. Hocevar is my driver of the day. 3rd place. Great run for him. Stayed up there pretty much all afternoon long and ran very, very well. My thoughts on the race was that, a lot of next-gen road course races haven't been overly great. I thought this one was pretty good. Had a lot of excitement to it. And then it was an absolutely thrilling, barnstorming finish between Buescher and Van Gisbergen. They gave us a show. And a great win for Chris Buescher. And he kind of lied to you, Marty. No, he doesn't make it feel better, the playoff sting. What another puzzling question from him, but but it will, but a win is good. He said he was here to be a spoiler, and I think he can do that. I don't know if he's done winning in these playoffs, to be perfectly honest with you. He's won at Bristol before, so he'll be good. Bristol next Saturday night. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. Man, oh man. Going to be a heck of a night up in Bristol, Tennessee. Next Saturday night, USRN, JB Motorsports for the round of 16 elimination race. Can Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., or Brad Keselowski go from below the cut line to advancing to the round of 12? What other madness is going to happen at Bristol from the chaos of the spring race there? What's going to happen on Saturday night? Can't wait to find that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. What a finish today, though, in Watkins Glen. Fun race and an extremely fun finish as Chris Buescher and Shane Van Gisbergen fist fought for the lead and the win across the last 2 laps. And just the slightest of mistakes from one of the world's greatest race car drivers right now, Shane Van Gisbergen, made a small mistake on the last lap in the bus stop, and it allowed Buescher to get to him, open the door, and then slam it shut. And Chris Buescher scores his first win of what has been a frustrating and heartbreaking 2024 season to this point for the driver of the 17 car. It's been a long time since RFK had won on a road course. Of course, you think of all of Mark Martin's triumphs here in the past. Another Roush Ford in victory lane at Watkins Glen. This time, it's Chris Buescher. For everyone at USRN and Mixer.com, Matthew Owens signing off. For our guys Josh T. and Seth Eves, we will see you next Saturday night in prime time for the round of 16 elimination race in Bristol. And, of course, throughout the week, later tonight, Houston and Chicago, and Sunday night football, Monday night football tomorrow, too, Atlanta and Philadelphia. So long from the Finger Lakes region of New York. Chris Buescher, the winner at Watkins Glen.